When some employees are at the office and most are working from home, how do teams work together? Cisco WebEx, a video and web conferencing solution that connects your team seamlessly while keeping your data completely secure. Simply connect and collaborate. Stay unstoppable. This is India. The world may be in a lockdown, but that doesn't mean we've slowed down. Baggaji's meeting happened on schedule. Meenakshi worked on her blueprints through the night. Mr. Ashfaq's factory fulfilled all its orders. Even in these extraordinary times, work hasn't stopped. Because where others see obstacles, we see opportunity. So keep going, keep working, keep growing. Stay unstoppable.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cisco Small Business Virtual Summit 2020. We are living in unprecedented times, and businesses around the world are feeling the impact. Almost two-thirds of the global workforce is employed by small businesses, and half of the global GDP is generated by them. But while the New World Order has introduced big challenges for small businesses, every challenge brings with itself a new opportunity. It's time to disrupt the industry and change the rules of the game. Stopping is definitely not an option because rukna mana hai. I would like to take a moment here and thank all our sponsors who did not stop supporting small businesses and made this virtual summit possible. Our technology partners, Connectivity Solutions and Network Bulls Technologies, our digital partner, Telecraft eSolutions, our associate partners, Emerson's Infotech, Cisco WebEx, Cisco Meraki, and Seamless Infotech. On that note, I would like to invite Mr. Nitin Gadkari, the Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises for the Government of India, who will be sharing his vision to grow and empower small businesses in India.
Dear friends, it is really a great pleasure for me to interact all of you related with MSME. I like this slogan, Rukna Mana Hai. Today, we are all facing the problem of COVID-19. And this is not only a problem which we are facing in India, the world is facing this problem. I feel that now this is the time for Indian society not only fight against COVID-19, but to fight against this economic war. And it is important for all of us to win this war. Frankly speaking, from before our history, if we concern it, before 47 and after 47, our country, our society has faced a lot of problems. But the history indicates that ultimately we are the winner. I feel that 100% we will win the war against COVID-19. At the same time, we definitely going to win this economic war. Now, because of COVID-19, there is a lot of negativity and frustration in the mind of the people. We should think it as it is a blessing in disguise. We need to fight with COVID-19. I request you, all of you, that now we need to learn the art of living with COVID-19. That is important because we don't have any new solution for that. Whole world is trying for getting vaccine. We will get it as early as possible, but when the vaccine is not available, it is the time for all of us to understand, to learn the art of living. There is a huge potential for export. Just our turnover of village industry up to the March end, last March end, it comes to 88,000 crore. And now our idea is to make it to 5 lakh crore within 2 years. We are now formulating the policy for making up agro MSME, forest MSME, rural MSME, agro MSMEs, where we can create more jobs potential for the rural youth. Exactly, we need to support the society, those who are socially, economically and educationally backward. So this is the highest priority for our government. And there are a lot of skilled manpower is also available. Some of the tribals are very much skilled they have for construction, particularly making of wooden furniture, carving and different type of metal craft. Already in Chhattisgarh, they are doing excellent jobs. In the different part of India, we are now trying to develop honey. We have already decided to spend 10 times more money investment on honey. Honey can be a great thing for India. Presently, our blue economy is of 1 lakh crore. Our fishermen can take their boat up to only 7 to 8 nautical mile. But when I was shipping minister at that time, the Cochin Shipyard and research institute in Cochin, they have invented a trawler, and that trawler can go up to 100 nautical mile in the sea. Already we have manufactured the trawler and giving it to Tamil Nadu government, and the experience is indicating that they increase their productivity. Regarding the MSME also, we are now trying that how we can reduce our import. For that reason, it is an opportunity for MSME for upgradation of technology, and that is very important. Already India, there is a huge possibility because of research and because of new innovations, lot of technologies are available. I always talking with the people and convincing them that the knowledge is the power. The innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skill and successful practices, we name it as a knowledge, and conversion of knowledge into wealth is the future for the country. Conversion of waste into wealth and conversion of knowledge into wealth is the two important subjects which are very much touching to my heart. I feel that this is the time for all Indian MSMEs for upgradation in technology, by which we can reduce our logistic cost, power cost, labor cost and production cost. We can accept new good designs, we can accept good technologies, and we can change in our production capability and capacity, and by which we can reduce the cost without compromise with the quality. And a huge market is available. Presently the whole world, all indicates that they are not very much interested to deal with China. They are now finding their new alternatives and solutions for their requirement. And this is the appropriate time for Indian MSMEs to get export orders. I feel that there is a huge potential. Even investment point of view, government has taken a decision that now the MSMEs, those who have good track record of GST, bank turnover and income tax, by very simplified methodology, we can make their grading. On the basis of that, we will support up to 15 crore as equity to them. So we need to transform our system, totally digitalize. On the basis of that, we are planning to make one portal where all land which is available for industry will be available on that portal. With the cooperation of the state government, anyone who want to start industry anywhere, he can get the land records with the land bank which is available on the portal, and he can select the location. There will be a digital process, they can apply for that, and within 3 days he will receive the letter, and the institution, he has to pay 10%, and after that he can submit his all plans and everything, licenses, clearances. Within 3 months it will be cleared, the one Windows system will be there, and immediately after that he can start the industry. So digitalization is very important for everything, for the marketing, for the administration, for the system, for getting permissions, for everything. Our idea is to make this transformation and make the digitalization by using the technology, and that is very important. No one need to come to any government office. On his home he can apply and he will get the permission. We need transparency, corruption free system, time bound decision making process, and commitment. So we are very much pro for reforms. Already the World Bank has increased our rank. I feel that now this is the time for the country that by taking the advantage of the technology, we can resolve the problems of the MSME, and already we have one portal named as a Champion, and where already we have received the grievances of MSMEs, and we have already 90% of the grievances already resolved by the ministry. So we need interaction with the MSMEs by the digital methodology. We want to now planning for making of a marketing portal like Amazon or like Alibaba. We are now trying to develop a new platform for that. I am trying from last many days for that. But due course of time we will get success in it, and now we are going to formulate a portal and which can be a great advantage for all the MSMEs to get the world market from their portal. At the same time, I feel that for getting loans from the bank, getting permission from the different offices, either state government, central government, everything, it is the time for the country that we must digitalize the things. We must digitalize the system. For everything, for every policy, implementation of policy, even everything, we now decided to make it digitalized. Using the technology, we will make transparency, time-bound decision-making process, corruption-free system, and there will be a performance-oriented audit. Financial audit is very important, but performance audit is more important than financial audit. This is my opinion. 3 गोष्टी मला 3 कविता नेहमी आठवतात. एक अटल बिहारी वाजपेयींची कविता होती, त्याच्यावर एक गीत पण झालेला आहे, कि कदम से कदम मिलाकर चलना होगा. दूसरी कविता होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. आणि तिसरी कविता आहे, ती फार सुंदर आहे, हम होंगे कामयाब. आपल्यातला आत्मविश्वास दर्शवणारी आहे. आपण सगळेजण विजय होऊ, तुमच्या सगळ्यांमध्ये विजयी होण्याचा साहस आहे, धाडस आहे आणि क्षमताही पण आहे. आपण सगळेजण निश्चितपणे विजय होऊ या विश्वासाने आपल्या सगळ्यांना माझ्या खूप खूप शुभेच्छा. चला आपण पुढे येऊ, कोणीही थांबायची गरज नाही, रुकना मना आहे. आपल्याला पुढे जायचं आहे, हा संदेश घेऊन आपण सगळ्यांनी पुढे जावं.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. With such inclusive strategies in place, the sky is the limit for small businesses in India. As we've come to realize, small businesses are anything but small, and the current scenario has opened up new avenues and opportunities for digitization and future readiness. For more in-depth analysis, I would like to call upon Mr. Sameer Garde, the President of Cisco India and SAARC, to talk about today's opportunities for small businesses.
This is absolutely my favorite event of the year. And I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. I would much rather be with all of you doing this in person, but we are unable to do that for reasons that are very obvious. But we're still thrilled to spend time with you. We've got a great event planned where we're going to talk about what we love most, which is our technology and how we can help you pivot towards profitability using technology. But before I begin, I just want to start by saying thank you. We're so grateful that all of you have decided to spend time with us, and I hope you'll find this time extremely and incredibly valuable. I also wanted to thank Shri Nitin Gadkari, Honorable Minister of MSME, Government of India, for spending time with us today. The theme of this event is Rukna Mana Hai, and is inspired by the government's efforts to keep the country running despite all the challenges. And for that, I'd like to thank you for your leadership. Now, if you look at the last 2 decades in India, the 2000s were all about the IT/ITES boom, Indian companies going global and establishing India as a leader in technology services space. The next decade, which was 2010s, was all about startups. We saw several unicorns in India, and this trend continues to grow stronger. Now, this decade, 2020s, I believe and strongly believe, will all be about small businesses. 75 million of them taking India to the next level, providing employment, decentralizing growth, boosting GDP, but more importantly, adding value to India and to Indians. But 2020 has been a difficult and a challenging year. We started out the new decade with a lot of hope, but we never imagined that in July we would have experienced what we've experienced this year, the pandemic and the crisis that came with it. Not just that, the geopolitics and the challenges associated with it, and more importantly, the uncertainty all over the world, which is causing so much pain to all of us. While 2020 has brought a lot of pain, a lot of sadness, and a lot of uncertainties, I do believe that we can take the setbacks and turn them into opportunities for progress. And take some time, some of that uncertainty, and turn it into hope. Because we believe in what's possible. And I'm here today to talk to you about those possibilities. Now, speaking of possibilities, today for the first time in history probably, we're all on the same side. I believe this is a good opportunity to get something great out of this. And it's just not about business or numbers, but more about society and human well-being. Now, as we entered into this pandemic, we decided that we're going to focus on leveraging technologies to help our customers, communities, and governments and citizens. And I wanted to share some examples of how we are helping and supporting our communities. Now, we've been using our technology in India to help frontline workers and government stay connected and manage this crisis. For example, in Bangalore, we helped train over 25,000 health workers on COVID-related methodologies. So far, we've conducted upwards of 8,000 meetings through WebEx just for this one initiative. We've connected COVID hospitals with each other across several states so that they have a coordinated response to this problem. In Gujarat alone, we've connected around 81 hospitals. We're also innovating with our partner ecosystem to develop unique solutions that can help our frontline workers. And lastly, but not the least, we've also partnered with Akshay Patra to help deliver over 600,000 cooked meals to stranded migrant workers through their mobile kitchens. At Cisco, we believe digitization can be a force for good, an enabler of inclusion, an equalizer of opportunity. We strive to bring the positive benefits of digitization to every person in the world and are committed to positively impacting 5 crore Indians by 2025. Today, I have another commitment to make, our commitment to you. 75 million small businesses in India, and our commitment is that we do whatever we can to help you grow your businesses and make 2020s a decade for small businesses. Kyunki rukna mana hai. So why small businesses? For a country, small businesses form the bedrock of the economy, especially so in India. There are over 75 million, 7.5 crore SMBs in India alone, employing 18 crore people. That's 35% of India's employed generation. SMBs also contribute nearly 30% to the national GDP. 30% of the national GDP is approximately $1 trillion, and close to 50% of our exports. Now, given the critical role they play in every industry, SMBs are fundamental to India's dream of achieving $5 trillion GDP by 2024. However, all those numbers, 30% GDP, 48% exports, 35% of India's workforce are at risk today. And given the critical role they play in every industry, we need to find ways to jumpstart this sector quickly and carefully. And I believe the key for this lies in digitizing these SMBs. According to a new Cisco survey, even if 50% of them start the digitization journey, they can add up to $216 billion to our economy in 2024. In addition to this, as Shri Gadkari mentioned, if we need to close the economic gap, we need to decentralize the economic development and make it more democratic. And I believe MSMEs will be the engine that will power this transformation. During this time, given that India was under lockdown for over 3 months, small businesses have been grappling with drastically reduced liquidity, purchasing power problems as a result of reduced consumer demand and customer sentiment. Moreover, supply chains have been disrupted, not just in India, but all over the globe. Even for investing in new areas or to pivot towards growth, there are challenges with lending and liquidity. And as Shri Gadkari mentioned, the government's top focus in helping the SMB sector to get back on its feet. It's heartening to see that the government coming to alleviate some of that strain that SMBs are currently under. Be it through credit-free loans, 50,000 crores equity infusion, revising the definition of MSMEs so that more businesses can benefit from these schemes. And it's good to see the specific policies and programs aimed at increasing disposable income in the hands of rural and low-income consumers. However, the hurt and the growth are not evenly distributed. The impact is different for manufacturing, services, retail, and these sectors will need to employ different tactics to bounce back. So what does this mean, this new world really mean? Now, as the crisis evolves, businesses, consumers, and as a country, we are evolving and adapting to new rules, new habits, and a new norm. At a very basic level, there are 3 things that you need to take care of to succeed in this, to navigate this new world. Number 1, we need to think about what areas do we divest from and what areas do we invest that money from. Divest in areas that are not important now and make a strong pitch for areas where you need to invest, which will be more and more relevant in the future. Now, while it's important to conserve cash, it's important to ensure that that conserved cash is invested in areas which will give you significant ROI in the future. So plan to pivot your products, services, business models that can cater to the newly dispersed, diverse and digital consumer. Secondly, go digital. The new normal is witnessing the rise of low-touch, contactless economy that necessitates the reinvention of existing business models and or GTM. So how you deploy technology at every touch point of the supply chain to future-proof your business is going to be very critical. The focus should be on leveraging new age technologies to cater to the newly dispersed and digital consumer. And finally, not everything can be done by one SMB on its own. You need to leverage partnerships. Think of your competitors, think of your partners as people that you can combine with and get over this crisis. And maybe even pivot your businesses significantly. Now, all of this is easier said than done. Over the last 30 years, I've spent quite a bit of my time working with small businesses. I feel they are probably the most passionate and hardworking leaders and have a pulse on everything. And the reason for that is that the founder is the CXO of all functions across the company, whether it's the customer, whether it's procurement, whether it is IT, whether it's everything. At the same time, most of them are realizing that going digital is no longer the question. I've been speaking to many of our small business customers, and whenever we talk about digitization, there are 3 questions that always pop up. Because while the possibilities of digitization are not lost on these customers, They want to understand what it really means for their business. So what are these three questions? So let's talk a little bit about it. First question is, kya karna hai? What do I need to do to pivot to profitability or to reimagine my business? Now here it's important to think of digitization as a long-term journey and not as a stopgap arrangement. Of course, there'll be some low-hanging fruits which you need to implement immediately. But combining your business strategy with technology and envision where you would like to see your business 1 to 3 years. 3 years may be a little long in this time period, in these uncertain times, but at least look at a 12 to 18 month period. Uske baad, the next question that comes clearly is, how much will it cost? Kitna lagega? And whether I can afford it. You ask this question and you'll know what you need to save to invest. Now, given the cash deficit that most SMBs are facing today, cost affordability is the primary concern in making technology investments. Tech solutions need to be affordable, need to be consumption driven, and thanks to the cloud, all this is possible. Explore these and pick up one which suits you the best. And by the way, at Cisco, we are coming up with a new scheme soon that will simplify your tech buying considerably. And then finally, the question that comes up is, kaun karega? Who's going to help me do this? Now, most of the small businesses don't have a dedicated IT manager. So the question of who will do this for them, maintain it for them, manage it for them, is a big, big one. Hence, the technology needs to be simple to use, easy to deploy, easy to manage. Thankfully, over the last few years, we've seen the gap between enterprises and end consumer tech narrowing. And the great example of that is what we've seen for collaboration technology during the course of this 3 or 4 months of lockdown. This means companies like Cisco are looking at developing technology platforms and solutions that are simple enough for an individual, for a consumer to use and deploy, and yet offer enterprise-grade security and quality of experience. So these questions kind of give you a preview into the complex world of small businesses that they live in. Now, we at Cisco, we understand this and have been innovating to come up with products that are aimed at mid-market and small and medium-sized businesses to help them digitize and also to take advantage of the vast opportunities created by the India's booming digitization. I can talk to you all day about Cisco products and individually, but I think it'll be a lot more helpful if I can talk about them in the context of addressing top priorities and solving your most complex problems in an easy way. Our focus is to provide small businesses access to a simple, secure, and smart enterprise-class technologies specifically tailored to their business size and price to match. The right-sized, right-priced solutions, wherever they are on their digital journey, enhanced operations, services, processes, reducing overheads, and reducing the total cost of ownership. Our commitment is that these capabilities are delivered through a highly curated, purpose-built set of products that are designed specifically to work for small businesses. Additionally, we are making the purchasing of these products and solutions as seamless as possible through direct sales, through digital marketplaces, and massive army of partners so that you can enjoy an out-of-the-box plug-and-play experience. That is the power and the advantage of working with Cisco as your strategic partner. Now, while small business is an attractive market, this is also a very challenging market for us. The high geographic distribution, small deal sizes, long sales cycles, and the high cost of customized solutions have proven to be a challenge. However, Cisco is well placed to address this through our partner ecosystem, through customized solutions and Cisco financing and support. For us at Cisco, small businesses are a top focus area. That's why we separated it out into a separate segment. We believe that SMBs are the engine of the economy, and without them, economic well-being would not be possible. In fact, one of the legacies I want to leave behind is to be able to do business with at least 1 million, if not more, SMBs before I leave this role. So it will take another 2 to 3 years at least. To cater to this, we have 3P offering. First, products. We are industry leaders in every category that we operate in. And this is primarily because of the $6 billion we invest in R&D every year. $6 billion, guys. It's not a joke, okay? And a significant portion of that is spent in fine-tuning enterprise-grade products for small businesses. Very few companies have the ability to invest so much in R&D. We launched Cisco Design, which is a suite of offerings that have been curated for small businesses and address their networking, security, collaboration, cloud, and internet connectivity needs. It's easy to deploy, easy to use, easy to manage, and easy to measure. Our intention with Cisco Design was to offer enterprise-grade quality for small businesses priced at the right level. The second P is partners. We have a diverse partner ecosystem who can help you meet your transformation goals. Over 1,500 of them in every corner of the country. In addition to understanding our offerings and solutions, they understand the local market. They have relationships with all of you. But their biggest advantage have helped several small businesses and communities across the country transform. Last year, when we started off, we were digitizing 25 small businesses every day. And we want to double or maybe triple that number by the end of this year. And finally, payments. We'll soon be introducing new financing schemes for small and medium businesses in India to purchase our products at zero interest, with no upfront costs and a fixed 3-year monthly payment plan. This term extends to all Cisco Design portfolio products, including software, hardware, and services. So let me repeat this. Very soon, we will be introducing a new financing program to purchase our products, software, and services at 0% interest with no upfront costs. We believe that to lead this country to the 5 trillion goal, digitizing SMBs is a crucial step. As I mentioned earlier, I believe this crisis has been singularly unifying force that has brought people from all over the world together to beat one common enemy. And given what's happened in the last 6 months, we decided that our purpose as an organization is to power an inclusive future for all of us. This means enabling and capitalizing on equal opportunities for everyone. At Cisco, we believe that during challenging times, there is where innovation comes. Because when you're in need, we're trying to solve problems. And when we want to use this as our opportunity, because all of you are problem solvers at heart. Well, there's so much uncertainty. There's also tremendous promise and unforeseen possibilities. I think together, we have the opportunity to make tomorrow better in this post-pandemic world. And because I'm so optimistic that we're going to come out of this stronger together, the next time we meet or next year when we conduct this event, hopefully in person, we will want to rename this event from Small Businesses Event to a Small and Growing Business Event. And I sincerely hope that Cisco has a role to play in that growth. Now, before I sign off, I'd like to just say that we are always here to support you. We're going to tackle the challenges as they come, big or small. Okay? Rukna mana hai. Thank you, and please stay safe.
Thank you, Mr. Samir Garde, for that insightful opening keynote. We're all adapting and transforming ourselves to navigate the new normal. IT, as we know it, is changing, and you need that technology to propel your transformation. Our next session is a panel discussion by industry leaders, deep diving into this technology transformation and the solutions that can help small businesses disrupt, transform, and transition into the new world order. Introducing Divya Sethi, the Head of Emerging Business at Airtel India, Gopal Pillai, Vice President, Seller Services, Amazon India, Mr. Mahantesh, Managing Director, Tele India Networks Private Limited, and Panish PK, Managing Director of Small Business, Cisco India and SAARC region. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Manish, if you'd like to just open up the discussion also with a few questions to our other guests.
Yeah, actually, I would like to do that. And, I would like to start with, Gopal and Divya. Gopal, Divya, if I were to ask you, from Amazon's point of view and from the Airtel's point of view, what do you think are the top challenges faced by the small and medium businesses in this pandemic? Just top of the mind, 90 seconds, each of you, if you could just articulate, how you are looking at it.
See, the pandemic has impacted everyone in the world. India is no exception. But in India, the impact is even more because by any measure, there are 60 to 70 million SMEs in the country. And they are going through hardship. And we did a survey with thousands of SMEs. The things that came out as the top of their issues are access to working capital, access to resources, whether to resell or to manufacture the products they want, and access to human resources. These are the top three things people are struggling. And it's changed a little bit after the unlockdown, but it's still one of the top three. Those three are the top reasons for SMBs.
Divya, what do you think?
Hi, Punish. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And we also are seeing this situation very closely. And we have also done a bit of inciting, and we have reached out to thousands of SMEs to figure out what is their state of mind and the key challenges they are facing. I think the first challenge already has been outlined by Gopal already. Capital and cash is a big one in their mind. The other one is to really figure out how to get my customer and business back. And the third one is how to get my employees back to work. And then there is a fear of getting the infection, whether it is at a personal level or at the family level or within the employees level. So there is a bit of an anxiety which has seeped in. But at the same time, we see them really dreaming with a lot of hope. And with the benefit and with the government also coming up with a lot of SOPs there, I'm seeing it and that the SMEs are really looking at it some of them are looking at it as a glass half filled and others are looking at it as a glass half full. So that is how they are trying to really look at differently. But I think this is a time when they're trying to grapple up with the new normal of life.
Thank you, Divya. Actually, luckily we have amongst us Mahantesh. Mahantesh is actually leading a small and medium business. In fact, it's a medium business, Tele India Networks. He's the managing director. So, Mahantesh, I think there is no better person than you to tell us, as to what actually happening on the ground. I think, companies like the one you lead must be facing a dilemma in times like this. Should you invest in newer opportunities, or should you just try and stay afloat? Is sustenance your priority? What are your thoughts on it? Assuming resources are a constraint, which I'm sure it is, can you help us understand how do you take decisions on making investments and how do you
current pandemic situation and the fact that the technology investments are critical to the business. So, and also if I look at the digital disruption now, it's proven to be a fundamental concept and is leading the whole investment in the tech tools. And if you want to sustain a business and stay afloat without technology investment, really doesn't seem to have feasible options or it's not practical. So considering the fact that the SMBs are really facing impact on the costs or probably the other issues, it's more important they have to prioritize the area of the investment. So one, I would look at it as a collaboration and communication technologies and data security and the management techs. And mainly, the COVID-19, the health and safety tech as well is proven to be the better one. And also the virtual way of working and efficient compute and cloud compute. So These are the one I would really see the SMBs really look at it in order to increase their productivity or probably their revenues to pick up. And one key aspects to consider, the SMB need to look at the choice where they pay only for what they get. Okay. And also a lot can be saved even on preventing infra waste, especially when it comes to the IT and other common many DC offerings. If I look at it today on the data center segments, there are a lot of offerings which really makes the resource optimizations for SMBs and which really end up in getting the less ROI. So I would look at it in this way to see the cloud offerings and the data center solution and technology investments are going to be the next, future investment comes into place.
Everyone has laid out that cash is a constraint. We know they operate on a shoestring budget. Mahantesh has very kindly listed out some of the important technology: collaboration, communication technology, health tech, data security. How expensive will all this be for a small to medium business?
Actually, you can look at it in multiple ways. Yes, we would always encourage our customers to look at it from a total cost of ownership point of view. And how do these technologies help them to become more productive in the new normal? So you'll have to take a slightly longer horizon, when you look at these investments. Collaboration and cybersecurity is really top of mind for everybody. Because a lot of things are happening on the net, and hence cybersecurity becomes very important. And since Mahantesh mentioned cloud, in fact, I will come to you, Mahantesh, later on to ask about your further thoughts on how that is going to be a game changer for your business and your customers in the days to come. But yes, I think collaboration technology again is extremely important in today's times. And if you look at Cisco WebEx, for example, we have seen a huge upsurge in usage of WebEx in the last 3 to 4 months. I think we are breaking records every month in terms of the number of million minutes of usage and number of people actually using WebEx in India. Divya, again, from Airtel's point of view, if you could just tell us how is Airtel helping in the digital transformation journey for SMBs from two aspects. One from the business continuity aspect, and secondly from the aspect of making companies, these SMBs crisis resilient for the future.
Yeah, Panish, I think one has to really have a good look at how the entire thing is panning out. When you talk about the current pandemic situation, businesses have to work from 3 aspects. One, work from home, then work from offices, and work in the field. So these are the 3 dynamics which are going to play in different intensity from time to time, depending upon how the containment zones are coming in, where the pandemic is revisiting, or where the situation is. But the business has to now operate at these 3 levels. So in order to have them going from all these 3 things, we at Airtel are helping them connected at home big time, whether it is through a wireline connection or a great 4G experience or Wi-Fi hotspots, which are helping the businesses to stay connected while they are working from home. And when they come to offices, I think a lot of discussions are going on that how much investment has to be made here, or how the entire fabric of working from home, from office, or people in the field are working together. Therefore, cloud storage security is coming into play, and a bit of optimization in terms of how much bandwidth you would need in offices and in a secure manner. So we are playing a lot of support game there in terms of extending them good quality, always on secure connectivity in offices bundled with cloud and security. And when the employees have to really go out for the field work there, then we have come up with solutions which are embedded in our mobility solutions, which enable people to look at and trace them, whether they are hitting into a red zone or they are really operating where they are, and so that they can be really supported there. And we have also bundled a lot of other productivity elements into those mobile solutions itself, so that when they are on the go, they can really get their emails, and they should be able to get their cloud and storage available there itself in the plan. So 3 things have been done: enable work from with lot of connectivity, stability, enable them to work from offices with a lot of cloud and digitization there. And when they are out in the field, enable them so that they are taken care of and they are able to get those productivity solutions available through their SIM and on device. So this is how we have seen this. Our work from home package has been a big hit. We have seen a lot of people picking this up. And we also have seen work in field solutions, that CUCP bundled offers are also a big hit there.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you so much. Gopal, from Amazon's point of view, one thing that has always intrigued me about the Indian SMEs, I'm sure you might have experienced it as well, is that, Indian SMEs have often favored traditional methods of working. And probably, I think the vendors also have made it a little complex for them to understand the benefits of digital technologies and, the advantages. And hence, probably they choose to adopt the offline means of doing business. So from your point of view, how can we help them to navigate through this cultural transition and remove those mental obstacles from their journey?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think if you take a step back, the consumption of products and services have moved to digital means by a long stretch, and even before pandemic. But the pandemic made it even more important for the digital technology and how digital helps the customers to get products or services in both sides, right? Let me talk about products in specifically. E-commerce and digital commerce make it serve in two important areas. One is consumers to get the products they want in a way that they can do it in a very safe manner by maintaining social distancing and everything else. For small businesses who are offering these products, their footfall traffic has come down drastically. And this becomes an easier way to reach the same customers that Divya was talking about. How do they win their customers back? And in that area, we have launched a new program called Local Shops, where for shop owners to go digitally, and they don't have to just depend on the footfall that they get to the stores, but also leverage the traffic coming from digital means. And when we surveyed more than 2,000 SMBs, what it was very clear is more than 3/4 of the people said that they are looking for service like Amazon to reach their customers. And we are extremely happy with the way our SMBs, despite all the hardship, their resilience, their patience, their ability to learn, their passion, everything is so inspiring. For example, in the last 4 or 5 weeks, ever since our lockdown has opened up, we are seeing more than 50 to 60% incremental interest in selling online. There is a registration increase. We are seeing the similar way. And we are also using this time to help SMBs to get used. Our Local Shops program go and helps them, trains them, onboards them. We are also launched something called seller registration and account management in Hindi. So that opens up new sellers from remote zip codes that we have ever not seen in the past. So all of these efforts are showing one thing, which is our SMBs can adapt quickly to the situation and innovate on behalf of the consumer customers and reach them through new ways of doing business.
Thank you, Gopal. Mantesh, you mentioned cloud in passing, and now I want you to elaborate on that a little bit. Very keen to understand, when you talk of key investments, cloud keeps popping up. The question, I actually have two questions on this to you, Mantesh. One is, who is cloud important for and why? And how can you maximize your ROI on cloud? Essentially, I want you to tell me what value can cloud add to SMBs? That's question number one. Question number two is, do you think there is a need for adoption of emerging techs like AI, VR? If so, how and why?
And the cloud is becoming more and more acceptable part of any organization culture. So having access to the tools, data, and solution round the clock without any location impacts is a key to a successful business operations. So when it comes to cloud investment, yes, it is a investment for building the tier 3 data centers, or giving different offerings, or witnessed key challenges like which has to bring in cost competitiveness and also the increasing of the ROI for especially to run the cloud infrastructure business are probably on the data center piece. So in today's trend, if I see the cloud infra providers are moving towards end-to-end solution. So when I say it's end-to-end solutions, because today the customer requirements are more agile and flexible. So they request and look for on-demand and on-requirement stuff, which really push to get more investment and more stuff to do. Okay. So and also the meantime, I would say this also situation where today the bandwidth usage are probably the consumption of cloud services are increasing, and really this maximize the ROI for the cloud investment. I think this, I would say, it's the right time for the data center and the data center services and etc. So when I look at it with Tele India Networks, it's come up with the tier 3 data center, which is called Data Samudra, is going to give all these services which also brings a very cost competitive and not to be expensive solutions. And how we get the ROI are probably on today's market is, if I just see a cloud-based tools for every aspects of daily work, something like desktop as a services, and even a vertical cloud or industry-specific cloud, or even it could be the domain clouds, are way to increase the cloud revenue and profit. So, I mean, here is the major role which actually plays, as you said, the AI and VR. I think these are the one will really bring in to the market to see how this technology to be adaptive. So let's see that the virtual way of working and the business are now a default. I mean, I think it has been witnessed many of the cases. And some cases we see more or less redeployment rather than even unemployment. So, I mean, this is all because of the COVID lockdown, and also that non-touch and non-travel methodologies are in demand today. So VR gives an option for a business to use virtual presence for managing their shows, especially on SMEs. So when I see the technicians usually needs troubleshoot and the problems are norm now. So even though if it is a lockdown and etc., things are running and moving forward for even essential services. So having VR as a technology is going to be makes even the work culture more easier, safe and secure. So if I look at with the AI, is really emerging as a key automation and business intelligence tool for effective and efficient delivery. Okay. So the AI tool adopted for organization for their core operations like customer management, process automation, and monetization have been on the increase in the last couple of months. So cost for this technology, of course, is going to be seen in terms of overall TCO and the ROI rather than CapEx. Okay. So converting CapEx into OpEx is easier to adopt these technology tools and get the better business case. And the one main model of OpEx is using cloud offerings are not going to be expensive. So having a subscription based or anything as you use and take it as a services is going to be a key in coming days, and that really brings in the SMBs to use as they utilize. I think that is going to be a key concept as in today. And Data Samudra is come up with the co-location services as well as the cloud offerings and the hosting services, which Tele India Network has taken a lot of investment to do so those services. And considering these situations, I believe and these services will support and especially on SMEs to get their revenue and the productivity on track.
Thanks. Thanks, Mantesh. I think best wishes to Data Samudra. All the very best to Tele India Networks. Divya, I think, when you look at adoption of these technologies or digital transformation, as we call it, it's no longer a nice to have, but a must to do thing. And how do you look at timelines? What do you recommend the SMBs when it comes to timeline of implementation?
Prish, I feel that time is here and now. Rather, I mean, the more we delay it, the more we will suffer. So, and when we say that, it is important to really demystify this digitization thing a little. I mean, it starts from as basic as of adopting a communication or a collaboration tool or a video conferencing tool in your life. It helps you engage with your customers. It helps, in doing meetings more digitally than physically, as we used to do in the past with your customers or your suppliers. It helps you not only engage within your team, but it can be to your distributors and to your, partners as well. So it starts from there. Then the second layer of this could be, and like we have seen with our collaboration solutions, people using it not only for their own ecosystem, but they're trying to reach out through events also on the digital platforms like the one we are participating in today. The second level of digitization would be to say that, how do I really make my processes more agile and take them on cloud, whether they take whichever platform. So that is the second level of intervention. And the third level of intervention could be that how do I really create my visibility more? I'll give you some examples. For example, educational institutions have really transformed. We are all, our kids at our home and everywhere are studying from home. So that is learn from home or so, whatever you call it as. It is up there. The educational institutions have adopted it big time. We have seen that many businesses, when they open up, because if you recall a few weeks ago, when the unlockdown happened, we saw that the businesses had to really tell their customers through a message or through a communication that now we are open from this time to that time. There were some time limits and all that. And there were days, the odd and even were really present in many towns. So how to really communicate to your customers that the business is on, it is available. Whether it is for saloons or it is for the local kirana store or it is the jewelry shop around or it is the car dealership around, or it is a simple message to say that we are alive. So therefore, there is a digital need to really reach out, and that could be done either through SMS, through outbound calls, or it could be done through some intelligence picked up around. For example, we just heard that AI or VR can really play a role. We have seen that in practical. We have seen doctors adopting it. They are saying that my clinic is available. I can do telemedicine. You can pay online. You can, book your slot that way. So this is already happening. This is work in progress. And the more you are able to look at it and adopt it, the better business you become. And I think this is the time to really shine out of this situation. Every challenge offers you opportunities. It is up to you the way you transform. And I believe very strongly that those businesses which will pick this up early and look at it and adopt it will be much ahead and be more successful with all the ESOPs coming in from the government and, the anxieties around that capital arrangement is coming into some control. I feel that is where the investment will really help them big time.
I think you're absolutely bang on, Divya. As they say, never waste a crisis. Gopal, I heard that there's something interesting happening on the B2C export side. So, do you think the pandemic has thrown up a huge opportunity on that front for the Indian SMEs?
Absolutely. I think if you think about it, Indian manufacturers are in a fantastic position because of the access to raw materials and their experience exporting in some of the segments like apparel and business scientific experiment and instruments and things like that. So the digitization has really helped bring businesses closer to the consumers. By listing and selling online, businesses are able to gain unfiltered and unmediated access to the customers across the country and even globally. Case in point here is Amazon Global Selling Program, which is an export-centric program that allows Indian SMEs to sell their products on Amazon's 15 plus international marketplaces and reaching 300 million plus customers directly. There is no middleman, right? The marketplace is kind of democratizing the access to the customers like never before. So the program was launched in 2015, and it helps Indian exporters to kickstart and expand their business globally. by sitting in tier 3 or tier 4 city or town in the country. So today, 5 years later, we have more than 60,000 manufacturers and exporters in the country are leveraging that marketplace across the world. And we already have crossed $1 billion in sales, cumulative sales early last year. And we are, even with the pandemic, the opportunity is growing and the Indian exporters are using that as a leverage. And we are extremely happy with the growth it's giving for the SMBs. And we are on track to hit $10 billion in cumulative sales by 2025. And the biggest leverage they have is Indian exporters who are part of this program can completely outsource the distribution and logistics to Amazon. So we have fulfillment centers in 15 different marketplaces and countries where they can send the products. And if you are a Prime member, you will get the product whether you are in Tokyo or whether you are in Chicago or whether you are in London. You will get the products within the same day, next day, and 2 days. And it's giving unprecedented access to Indian MSMEs. Example, Wow Shampoo, who has become a global brand, who started in India not just like 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. And if you search for shampoo, they come back as #1 or #2 on Amazon.com. Same goes for Vadam tea, which is appreciated by Oprah Winfrey and Mariah Carey and others. So Indian manufacturers are in a fantastic place in this timeline. And they don't have to be present globally to become a global brand. They can do that from India. So that's fantastic opportunity.
Thank you so much, Gopal. I think, Gopal, Divya, Mahantesh, thank you so much for the insights you provided to us today. Rima, I have no further questions, but I think the audience has some questions. So I'll, hand it back to you, Rima, to take this forward.
Okay, let's get in those audience questions. I want to virtually connect with my customers as well as clients. So Gopal, since in your line of business, SMBs virtually connect even in a normal circumstance, the question is, does digital transformation help you improve customer experience and service? Your thoughts?
Absolutely. More than ever, you don't have to be physically present to delight the customer experience. Customer experience comes from many forms, right? How do we create a product that is so loved by the customers? And you can be a banana chips manufacturer from Trivandrum to a sari maker in Surat. It doesn't matter. As long as you produce quality product, the rest of the customer experience in terms of on-time delivery, and after service care, everything is taken care by digital companies like Amazon. So for manufacturers and traders, it's an awesome opportunity to completely focus on their product at the right price. Everything else is taken care, whether the consumer is in Chennai or Delhi or Tokyo. The digital commerce and e-commerce technologies just reduces the distance between the customers and trader drastically. At the same time, it can be tens and thousands of miles apart. It doesn't matter, and you can still offer the same experience.
Mandesh, the next one I want to direct it to you. I run a small business with employees in tier 2 towns who are used to conducting tasks manually. How can I help them adopt digital tools and automate the process remotely?
Yeah, good question, Himanshu. I think better, I recommend use cloud-based solutions. Today, as even I said before, anything as a services is now the cost-effective and scalable solution, which really doesn't require any big capex. So look after from email to work to the data management, which is very cost-effective to go for a cloud-based model. And this doesn't have any physical requirements. Looking at today, the remote working and even SPs are closing this offices and making work from home and give a one-stop solutions, including the flexi desk, to the data security, And these are the ones which they should go on subscription basis and to use it when their business really demands and require it. Because that would, I would say, definitely they should use these technology and tools to increase their ROI and the business case.
And just to follow up, because there's another question on data security, cybersecurity. Since the lockdown, we have become a remote company. How do I make sure my company's data is secure and avoid cybersecurity concerns? Mahantesh?
Yes, Seema. See, here, this is very important, critical stuff when we see securing the data. So, which has to be secured with the device and the virtual connection and other stuff. So, I recommend there are 3 adopt layer to have secure your data and device and change employee perspective to handle the data they generate and use. So, probably today people are more used to have stuff from the mobile phones and even their gadgets and other stuff. So, I mean, I'm talking about it purely in the aspects of the SMEs angle. So, because they have to use, they bring their own device concepts and other stuff. So, they have to really bring those changes and educating the employee and see to define a clear policy on the company data security and the handling and use the data centers, the secured, let's say the tier 3 data centers, which definitely secures all this is really going to helpful.
And Divya, I think we have time for just one more question. So Divya, I'll direct this at you. And this is coming from an entrepreneur. And he said that typically we have focused a lot on cost savings. But what this pandemic or crisis has thrown up is that higher risk tolerance seems to have been sacrificed for cost savings. Is that something which needs to be corrected?
Yeah, I believe in that completely. However, there is a different angle. If you have to really shell out something outright, then this becomes a burden on you. So therefore, look at opportunities which can convert all these outright spending into some sort of a service model. Like, for example, if you had to invest into a CPE for a network, which means like a router or a switch or a modem which we had to put in, and if you had to buy in all that, it would have really bring in a lot of pressure on your books. So look at the service providers who can really provide you all these investments and convert that into some sort of a bundle or a service. Like what we do when you pick up an internet lease line from Airtel, we bundle it with Cisco routers, and they are bundled in so as to give you the benefits of a router or a UTM or a switch that way. Similarly, when you want to really convert your office or a campus into a Wi-Fi zone, we really invest in the APs for you ourselves and put that into a service model. So there are so many opportunities and there are so many things which can be done this way. Similarly, if you had to really invest in taking your business close to cloud or to a data center, look at partnership with Airtel where we will invest for those electronics on your behalf in our data center and convert that into an OpEx or a service model. So all the services these days are available in a service model where you don't have to really worry about spending outright. And many of these services are on pay-per-use model as well. So which helps you really navigate this time well with a less burden on your books.
Divya, Mahantesh, Gopal and Panish, thank you very much for joining in. Well, every crisis throws up an opportunity to reset your business. And the time is now to make that digital reset. Invest now to survive in the future because as Cisco says, Rukna Mana Hai. Thank you, gentlemen, once again for joining in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us here.
Small businesses have very customized needs for their IT infrastructure. And that's where Cisco Design comes in. It's a curated portfolio of products specifically designed to meet the needs of small businesses and help them thrive. Mr. Anand Patil, the Director of Systems Engineering Sales of Cisco India, is here to give you a complete tour of the portfolio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session of the Small Business Virtual Summit 2020. Rukna Mana Hai. Today we'll be talking about empowering small businesses to connect, compute, and collaborate securely. My name is Anand Patil, and I lead the systems engineering team for Cisco India. We've been living in strange times recently, and that reminded me of this quote from Lenin, where he said that there are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen. what we've seen over the last 3 months has been unprecedented. There has been a human side of the tragedy, but there have also been some bright spots in terms of learning that we've had. Let me talk a little bit about the learnings. When we started with the pandemic, especially in India, on the 24th of March is when we announced the lockdown, the complete lockdown. About a week before that is where Cisco had announced a mandatory work from home. And if you think about Cisco as a company, especially most of us who are on the field, are fairly used to working from home. Because at least one day a week, because we're on the field, because we meet customers, we work from home. And the capability is there, our IT infrastructure is set up to be able to handle that. Now, when we went into mandatory work in the second week of March, it was very different because everybody else was working from home as well. And come the lockdown, even the customers that we serve started working from home. So the reactions that we had around the entire industry was pretty similar. The first reaction of companies was to ensure that employees were safe, and therefore they implemented work from home policies. The second was to ensure that while they were at home, the employees were able to seamlessly access applications and be productive as possible while working from home. So over the course of the first 2 or 3 weeks of the lockdown, we worked with over 650 customers, enabled over 50,000 WebEx host licenses to allow all of these employees to collaborate with each other, and also enabled about 150,000 VPN licenses so that these employees could securely access applications that most companies took when they were faced with the lockdown. The first step, like I said, was to ensure employee safety. The second step was to ensure productivity by providing the employees with processes and tools to carry on their operations. After this phase, people started to think about what next. And there were a lot of learnings in the phase where things started to settle down. You must have heard about the announcements that TCS and Infosys have made, where they essentially said that a part of their workforce, a majority in fact, will be working from home almost permanently by a certain point in time in the coming future. So they're getting ready for a working environment that is vastly different from the way they do it today. From a majority of the people being in the office, they're going to a model where a majority of the people are going to be working from anywhere. And that's how they're starting to architect their IT. If you look around, you'll see many such examples in the industries. Car manufacturers, for example, they're starting to say, if customers don't come to us, if we don't need customers to come to our showrooms and workshops and things like that, or our dealerships, how do we give them the same experience virtually? That's what they're working on. Almost all of you who have children experienced what happened to schools where we went into the lockdown. Even kindergarten schools, classes moved online. A very new experience for most of our children, right? From a business point of view, the question was, how ready were we to actually be able to adapt to this new change of environment? How ready are you as a business to be able to support a majority of your people working from here? It takes 3 key capabilities. The first one is connectivity. And connectivity is basic because that's how you get out onto the internet. And most of us today actually have broadband connections at home, so that should be taken care of. But the second most important capability there is in terms of security. Once you've connected to official assets or to applications that you're using for work purposes, how secure is that data? And how do we ensure that while in transit or while it is resting on your device, nobody else but authorized people have access to it? The third most important capability in this regard is actually the ability to collaborate. While your users and your employees are working from anywhere, they still need to be able to interact with each other. They need to be able to have conversations. They need to share documents, work on things together. And therefore, a collaboration platform is key to enabling that experience and making sure that you're replacing meeting rooms with a similar capability in the online world. So more and more, I think companies are starting to realize that work is no longer a place that you go to, but it's an activity that you do, and you should be able to do it from anywhere. And therefore, we come to this concept of a distributed enterprise, where if you take it to an extreme, you can imagine this, that your users or your workers or your employees are anywhere in the world, either at home or in their hometowns or sitting in a coffee shop somewhere. On the other hand, your applications are either in your on-prem data center or they're in the cloud, be it a co-hosted cloud or as a SaaS application, if you have email hosted on the cloud, things like that. And really the infrastructure in between is nothing but the internet. So from an environment where in your office you had complete control of who could connect, who could access, how they could access, you're now in an environment where you almost control nothing. And still, the key to productivity is ensuring that every user has a great experience while accessing work applications. That's the key. And therefore, we now need to start thinking about IT architectures very, very differently. So when we started experiencing this pandemic, the first reaction of most companies and IT organizations was to respond. My employees are going to be working from home. How do I ensure they are ready? But as we started to go through the experience more and more, they started to realize that this is going to become a way of life. How can you start to leverage this to reduce cost, improve efficiencies, and still keep the productivity of the employees high? And therefore, we started looking at an enterprise architecture from an IT point of view from the outside in. We call this the resilient distributed enterprise architecture. We've already talked about distributed. Now let's start to focus on what resilient actually means, right? The second phase of thought that most of our customers started to talk to us about is, I think I need to re-architect my infrastructure to make way for this new way of work. I need these capabilities. But how can I start to leverage this learning to also impact my business? As in, how do I leverage this to start accelerating digital transformation? So imagine this. A manufacturing customer that I was talking to was telling me that, they spend a lot of man hours and cycles and things like logistics and things like sorting, packaging, things like that. He's saying, during the pandemic, my work actually stopped. Nobody could actually go to office, or nobody could go to the plants or the packaging centers. So now we're starting to look at how do we get independent of having physical presence as a requirement, physical presence of people as a requirement. Can we start to do these things remotely? Can I start to implement more and more automation? And the more customers that I started talking to, I got the same kind of response. It was about how do I leverage more automation, more RPA, more artificial intelligence, more machine learning, and how do I make my life easier? How do I reduce my dependence on people being there at a certain point in time, at a certain place? And the reason for this is because they're planning their business continuity for the next time that they get into a situation like this. Needless to say, the initial part of it, the respond and getting ready with the resilient distributed enterprise capability is key, is the foundation to be able to then catapult yourself into a phase of digital transformation where you really are talking about taking advantage of everything that you have now to make a large impact to your business. So let's focus a little bit more on the resilient distributed enterprise and what it actually takes to become one. So the first part of it is obviously that your organization needs to support it through a way of life as a business. Here in Cisco, we have a culture that we can work from anywhere. And as long as you're able to deliver on your work, you're considered to be productive. I'm reachable anywhere. We've got multiple ways in which people can get in touch with me, be it over the phone, be it over WebEx Teams, and so on and so forth. So while I'm at work here, or while I'm at work at home, I'm still talking to you. And I'm still presenting and delivering this session. And that's productivity. This culture is something that all enterprises now need to start to adopt, and that should be supported by business policies. It's as simple as having laptops given to all employees. It goes on to even simpler things like, do you reimburse people for their broadband connections? But these are things that need to start getting documented so that you start adopting this new way of work, this new way of productivity into your business environment. So you might ask, what is Cisco Design? Cisco Design is nothing but a curated portfolio of products. We as a company have a rich legacy of working with large enterprises and service providers and building large enterprise networks and service providers networks. We're now taking all of this rich experience and trying to bring that back into a smaller form factor, smaller portfolio with the same capability, but at a better price point. And therefore, what we try to do in the Cisco Design portfolio is get you the advantages of working with a large company like Cisco, getting the same capability and the rich experience that we have, and give it to you in your price point, in your form factor. So if I go a little bit deeper into the Cisco Design portfolio itself, it actually has 4 pillars. If you remember, we talked about connecting, computing, and collaborating securely. Exactly how the portfolio has been designed and put together. But rather than spend time on each product here, I'd like to walk you through a set of capabilities and a scenario which can play out in your environment so that you can understand these products a little better. So if you think about a user in your environment, trying to connect to applications, okay? Why do I talk about this scenario? Well, if you think about it, more and more as we start getting digitized, everything that we do in terms of work turns out to be a user accessing an application to get something done. Of course, we're not there yet from a 100% digitization perspective, but you can imagine that a majority of your knowledge workers are interacting with some kind of an application to get the work done. So let's take this example of a user who's in your office trying to access an application to get his or her work done. So the first thing that the person has to do is log in to the environment. It is also a well-known fact that a majority of breaches happen because of stolen passwords. How do you protect against that? It's actually a very simple capability called multi-factor authentication. In the Cisco design portfolio, we have a cloud-based, cloud-delivered service called Duo, which is very, very simple and easy to turn on. It gives you the protection that you need to protect against stolen passwords. So even if your user's passwords get stolen, whoever has that password can't do anything with it because the second factor of authentication is only with the end user. Once you've authenticated that user, the second thing that the user needs to do is log in to the environment. It's typically a wireless network. And here is where I'd like to spend a little bit of time on the two branches of portfolio that we have from a connectivity point of view. What you see on the top in green is the Meraki portfolio. And the Meraki portfolio, as a lot of you might know, is a very simple cloud-delivered networking portfolio. It is focused on simplicity, ease of use, and those of you who don't have very large IT teams will find it very, very easy to start to utilize and implement because it is cloud-delivered, accessible from anywhere, and really you don't need to know any command line or you don't need to know any kind of complex configuration to be able to get going with this. It's really easy plug and play. On the other hand, on the blue below is the on-prem version of our Connect portfolio. If you are an organization that is not very comfortable using the public cloud to manage your network, you could go with this kind of a portfolio. We would still give you the same capabilities. We will also give you a very nifty tool called Find It, which is a network management environment, which is also very easy and simple to utilize. The only difference is it can be implemented on-prem versus managed from the public. So once the user is connected to the Wi-Fi traffic has to now go into a switching platform. Again, we do have options on the Meraki side, which is cloud-based. For switching, we also have options on the on-prem managed, like the Catalyst 1000 series or SG series of switches. But wait, the user has to now go onto the internet to access the application that he's looking for. And therefore, we'll have to connect to a router where we terminate our broadband internet connection. Once again, from a Meraki portfolio, we have our MX series of products, which are edge devices that can take broadband connections. And on the on-prem side, we also have the RV series of products. Before the user actually gets out onto the internet, you have to think about how do you want to protect your environment. And one of the most fundamental capabilities from a security point of view on the internet is DNS protection. We have a service known as Umbrella. Cisco Umbrella is a DNS protection platform and soon to be evolved into a secure internet gateway platform. What it allows you to do is to check DNS requests. As most of you who are familiar with the internet would know, the first thing that any application does while trying to, or any client does trying to access an application, is it sends a DNS query. Umbrella looks at that first packet of the DNS query and then identifies whether the destination that the packet is trying to go to is malicious or is it safe. If the destination is malicious, you can drop the packet right there and block that connection. And therefore, even before the user is able to access a specific destination, an application, or a web page, you are able to protect your environment from malicious traffic. And the second capability that you should be looking for is an edge firewall. And this is essentially a network protection device. Our Firepower 1010 is the latest in the series of next generation firewalls from the Cisco stables. And that is something that will give you the ability to keep out unauthorized connections. So you would know that the Meraki series of MX devices also started out live as a security device. So it has complete unified threat management capability. It will also integrate with things like Umbrella to provide you with these additional services. So depending on whether your preference is to go with cloud managed or to go on-prem, you could either implement the firewall capabilities within the Meraki MX or go for a separate device like the Firepower 1010. And the last capability that I'd like to talk about from an on-prem standpoint is anti-malware protection. Really, this is the capability when added to the next generation firewall, gives you the ability to scan files and content as it is going through your network and identify things that are malicious. And Cisco AnyConnect is our VPN solution that integrates with the Firepower series as a VPN gateway and gives you the same capability and security to be able to have users connecting from anywhere in the world into your office environment. The other thing that the Cisco AnyConnect service VPN client also allows you to do is something called a split tunneling. Now, you might imagine if there is a lot of traffic that is going from your users onto applications that are based on the internet, why would you want to route them through your infrastructure unless you want to implement some high level security there? In most cases, you'll realize that all of these applications are anyways accessible through the internet. So the Cisco AnyConnect client has the capability to identify traffic that can go straight onto the internet and not take up resources on your office environment, like from the Firepower. And then whatever is destined or higher security traffic towards your office can then go through the VPN tunnel. Either way, security is ensured. One other important capability that I want to highlight, and this goes back to our reputation as the largest security vendor in the world. This particular portfolio is pretty much everything that a business like yours would need to connect end to end and ensure that you have the right level of security and capability to be able to access applications that you have in your environment. At the same time, what we have as a part of the Cisco portfolio is a capability called Talos. Talos is one of the largest security research organizations in the world. We're very proud to have it in our portfolio. What Talos does is gives us the intelligence and ability to track threats on the internet. And it is a large and veritable database of information. When you start to leverage that, you start to get a lot higher protection, up-to-date protection, and protection in time when the threats are detected. How do you leverage this Talos service as a user of one of our security platforms? Well, here's where it starts getting interesting. Talos actually gets its information from all of the security devices that we have installed around the world. Now, you can imagine, as the largest security vendor in the world, we have tens of thousands of devices that all of our customers have deployed in their environments. So Talos is information like, in a certain region in the world, which threat is actually trending, and therefore what should we protect against, and can give you and provide you that information for you to protect yourself. This same feed of learning is available to all of our security products, including the ones that I talked about as a part of the Cisco design portfolio. This is the advantage that we can offer you as Cisco, taking the data, the intelligence from all of our customers across the world and giving you access to that same level of information so that the protection that you get is not compromised in any way, just because you're buying a different portfolio. From a reputation point of view, this is a statistic that I'd like to share with you. Talos, on a daily basis, blocks over 20 billion threats. If you look at some of the nearest competitors we have, you will see that the aggregate number of threats that they block on a daily basis is close to 1/10 of what we do as Cisco Talos. That gives you a bit of idea of the scale at which we operate and also the amount of data that we're able to gather and analyze and process as part of Cisco Talos, which allows us to give you best-in-class security and up-to-date security at any given point in time. So coming back to our scenario, we've now enabled connectivity across. Now let's start to see what can we add on top of this. As a part of our Meraki portfolio, which is out there in gray, we also have things like security cameras. Well, they're not as much cameras as they are sensors with camera capability built into them. Because what you can start to do with them is start to do things like image analytics. And we have a dashboard called as Meraki Vision. Once again, just like Talos, this is a capability that we start to leverage AI and machine learning on. So for example, if you're operating a retail store and you have one of these Meraki cameras installed in that retail store, based on what it has learned about behavior and body language of shoplifters, it can identify suspicious behavior in your environment. Once again, this is some advantage that we are giving you because we're able to learn from larger customers, larger clients, and a much larger base, we do the machine learning, we do the artificial intelligence, we give you the capability to leverage. Going forward, a lot of you are also running custom applications in your environments. Now, we know that as smaller business, you may or may not have the interest to build a data center to host your own applications. So therefore, we give you a whole host of capabilities to either build your own or to manage your own, okay, no matter what environment you're working on. So first of all, HyperFlex is our hyper-converged platform where we get the compute, storage, and networking capabilities into a single box. It's a market-leading platform. We are now able to offer a 2-node cluster, which means you don't have to buy more than what you need to just set up a small capability in your branch office or in your head office. Intersight is the other capability I'd like to talk about. Intersight is a service which is essentially used to manage your infrastructure in terms of your servers, your compute environment, and so on and so forth. It is cloud-based. Again, it is learning. It is because it is cloud-based and it is hooked on to so many customer environments, we are able to do things like predictive analytics and give you flags and red alerts on things that we think might go wrong with your environment even before they happen. In this way, we are able to provide you with a lot more uptime. And again, this is another example of how we can leverage the size and scale that we have at Cisco to provide you with the capabilities that you need to run your infrastructure seamlessly. AppDynamics is another new addition to our Cisco portfolio. And I'd like to spend some time on that for a minute. Like we spoke about, we live in the distributed environment in which we have users that can be anywhere in the world, and you have applications that can be anywhere in the world. And the infrastructure in between is essentially the internet. So now how do you start as an IT owner, as an IT service provider, how do you start to measure how these applications are doing and how your users are experiencing these applications? Well, AppDynamics gives you the ability to do that. It's called application performance monitoring. So it can look at things like how long is it taking certain users to load a particular page. It can start to look at, what network issues are we facing in a certain region. If somebody complains saying I'm taking too much time to load this application, you can start to identify using AppD, whether it's a network issue, it's a code issue, or it's a client level issue. In fact, AppD also allows you the capability to get into business insights. So if you're like a pizza delivery firm, AppD sitting on your online ordering application can not only allow you to measure your customer experience and satisfaction with the online ordering application, but also start to track things like at a particular given point in time, let's say 5 to 7 in the evening, what kind of orders are you getting? Let's say it's cheese margarita pizza from a certain place in the city. It can give you that level of analytics as well. So it's business insights as well as application performance monitoring. It's a very, very powerful tool for you to get complete visibility all the way from the application performance into business performance. And the last capability, which I think is probably one of the most critical to be able to provide to your end users when you're in this distributed environment, is the one of collaboration. We spoke about this a little bit before. And the platform that we have as a part of our portfolio to be able to offer you is WebEx. WebEx is a single platform. I see a lot of boxes in there. You will also see the purple box around it, which basically means that it is a single platform. It's a single platform that provides you with all the capabilities that you need to be able to have teams working with each other effectively, be it instant messaging, be it conferencing, be it one-to-one voice calling, be it video conferencing, be it content sharing, even large format meetings like all hands, or being able to do trainings over a platform. We have all that capability. It is a single platform. We have APIs to help you manage and customize certain things according to your business requirements. We also have a variety of devices that we can offer you to hook on to the WebEx environment. So if you have large boardrooms that you want to connect, or even single meeting rooms someplace where you need a smaller screen, or your CEO wants a video conferencing device on his or her desk, it's all possible, right? And this is a seamless integration. It's a seamless environment. It's the only collaboration platform we will ever need. We are now adding things like virtual assistants. So you have voice-activated commands that you should be able to give to WebEx rather than trying to figure out which button to press. And we're also adding capabilities like cognitive recognition. So for example, as I'm talking to you, WebEx should be able to recognize my face and give you a label saying, I am Anand Patel. So these are the kind of things that we are under development right now, which you'll start to see very soon in the WebEx platform. And the good part about all of this is that all these capabilities that we talked about so far are part of the Cisco design portfolio. So you don't have to go around hunting with multiple different OEMs or multiple different vendors to try to put this all together. We give you the ability to connect, compute, and collaborate, above all securely, within the Cisco design portfolio. And I'd like to offer that this is an integrated, all-in-one, one-stop shop kind of solution that will cater to all of your needs to build yourself a resilient, distributed enterprise. With that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening. And I do want to remind all of you, our viewers, that in the sessions that we have lined up during the rest of the day, we will go a little deeper into the Cisco design portfolio. So please remember to attend those. Stay tuned. Have a great day. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Thank you, Mr. Patil, for showcasing how Cisco Design Portfolio can help you connect, compute, and collaborate securely. One of the most significant changes the current situation has triggered is a new way of working. Remote working has become the norm. Staying connected securely with employers, customers, and partners is critical for small businesses to ensure business continuity. Let's hear it from Mr. Pankaj Agarwal and Vaibhav Pant as they explore the future of workplace transformation.
Hi, everyone. Today, we'll talk about the trends around workplace transformation and the actions that you can take to ensure that your organization stays competitive. I'm sure we all realize that the workplace is changing rapidly. This is driven by an evolving workforce and the changing nature of work. COVID has significantly accelerated this change, but this change was happening even before COVID struck. And why is the focus on workplace transformation so critical? Well, everyone is gunning for digital transformation, but research shows that digital transformation is doomed to fail unless you empower employees with a digital workplace. And this is true for companies of all sizes, anywhere in the world. In the new normal, work is an activity, not a place. And every organization is working on changes around their workplace and working styles around this principle. Let me talk about some of the ways in which we are supporting them. So our customers are telling us that as they start working from anywhere, they are switching to video in order to increase the quality of engagement. Also, when meetings have a mix of people being physically present and some others joining remotely, as is increasingly going to be the case, video provides more inclusive participation and ensures that remote participants do not feel left out. Organizations have now started worrying about the impact of long-term work from home on organization culture and thinking of ways to improve engagement. Now, traditionally, video conferencing solutions used to be large and expensive. Think those brilliant telepresence solutions. Now, we have innovated to drive those capabilities down to smaller and smaller form factors, such that now they are available even in personal desktop devices. And these devices are transforming the workplaces. We use artificial intelligence in our solutions to introduce features which significantly transform the quality of engagement. So for example, if you're part of a meeting and you do not know one of the participants, our facial recognition technology will tell you who that person is. We will also pick up relevant information which is available about this person in the public domain to familiarize you with this person within the matter of a few seconds. Now, this really transforms the quality of engagement with this person. Again, our AI-based WebEx meeting assistant is a personal assistant. Users can ask it to record meetings, take notes, and send out meeting minutes to attendees after the meeting is over. Our devices are intelligent devices with sensors, and they're capable of tracking people count, among other things. This can be very useful in implementing norms around social distancing within the office. Our solutions also enable brainstorming discussions across remote participants, and we do this through remote whiteboarding with co-creation. We recently got feedback from a customer who had empowered all of their employees with video solutions, that they were able to bring down their decision-making time by approximately 30%, thanks to the improved quality of engagement made possible by these video devices. In this new way of working, speech control may become important because people would want to avoid touch. Our WebEx voice assistant enables you to join meetings from video devices without the need for any contact. Entire workflows around meeting room booking, joining, releasing meeting rooms can be enabled in a contactless manner. Now, in order to support social distancing, companies are thinking about introducing staggered work timings. However, we will still need to work with other people, and this means that we will need to work at all points of times. Now, what this would mean for us practically is that we might need to start off working while we are at home, leave for work at some point of time, and continue working while in transit, reach our workplaces, and continue our work from there. Now, you may be working from a laptop device while in office, from your mobile device while in transit, and from a large video conferencing system while at work. The one thing that we most frequently hear from our customers is that they want a collaboration solution which is easy to use, so that when they have to switch from one device to another, as they will surely need to do in the new scenario, that switching is seamless. Our solutions are equipped with the Cisco Intelligent Proximity Pairing solution, which enables exactly this. And this is really unique in the industry. It's a differentiator for us. An important priority for all SMEs, especially in the post-COVID world, is to figure out ways to optimize costs. Now, there are multiple ways to do that, and perhaps one significant way is around real estate cost optimization. Now, several organizations in India have made massive announcements around permanent work from home. Perhaps the most significant one being TCS. You would have read announcements from TCS that they plan to move 75% of their workforce to permanent work from home by 2025. Likewise, Facebook announced that they'll move 50% of their people to work from home permanently. But what's more, this move to work from home will be accompanied by a reduction in paychecks. This is because they reckon that you could move from a high-cost location to a low-cost location, and hence a paycheck reduction is justified. Now, this throws up interesting possibilities for our SMEs in India. This might involve maybe shutting down a few regional offices and moving to permanent work from home, or maybe to shared workspaces. Now, this not only helps you cut costs, but this also enables you to look at talent in a very different way. So, as an example, this gives an opportunity to improve for the participation of women in the workforce. Again, part-time workers, gig workers will be able to contribute way more effectively if this is made possible. And with technology enabling effective remote working, all of these are possibilities. An important area that SMEs should focus on for optimizing costs is increased operational efficiencies. Now, for knowledge workers, an important cause of drain in efficiency is a large number of applications that they have to work on, and the need to constantly switch across these applications. We are often working on one application and collaborating on another. Now, SMEs should evaluate collaboration platforms which help eliminate this. Now, this can be done either by having the collaboration platform integrated within the core business application, or by having bots integrated within the collaboration platform, which can query the most frequently used applications. Again, focus on interoperability, open standards, flexibility, and unified communications will help drive reduced costs. Also, AI can be used to optimize costs. So one thing that we've done with some customers is enabling AI-based conversational IVR solutions. Now, here, a caller, instead of being asked to key in multiple entries on IVR, actually converses with an AI-based engine. Now, this solution has enabled them to increase the calls that they are able to close without actual human agent interaction by 60%, and thus help them significantly reduce costs. Now, we believe that in all of this, the most critical role that technology plays is in ensuring security and confidentiality. Consider this: when you are in a closed door meeting, you are assured of the confidentiality of your discussions. Now, when this same meeting moves to a collaboration platform, you obviously expect the same level of confidentiality. What happens if a random stranger is able to join your meeting and listen in, and maybe even post objectionable content? So these are aspects related to security. Of equal importance are privacy concerns. Does anyone have access to your data, and is your data being rented out or sold to external organizations? These days, every employee is downloading a collaboration application, exposing your organization to massive amounts of risk. It is important for you to do a detailed examination of the security and privacy track record of the collaboration solution vendor before you finalize on one. So in summary, for digital transformation to be successful, it is critical that you empower employees with a digital workplace. To show you how this can be done in actual practice, let me now hand over to Vaibhav Pant and his team.
Thank you, Pankaj. What best way to showcase the power of whatever you have told us than to talk to a user himself? So we've joined into this call by Anand Hariharan. Hey Anand, where have you joined us from and how are you conducting your day-to-day work, Anand?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Vaibhav. And that was a good presentation, Pankaj. So I'm joining this call from home. This is my home office and I'm using a Cisco WebEx RoomKit Mini, right? This is sitting on top of a TV and is connected by a HDMI. This is sort of an all-in-one device. So it's got a camera, microphone, speaker, everything built into it, right? So this is the only device you need to join any video conferencing call, right? I take all my calls from home, and whenever I need to join a call, all I have to do is just press a button and I'm in the call, right? This device connects to WebEx Cloud using my home wireless internet. So I don't need any VPN or any secure connection back to my office. Just public internet directly registering to WebEx Cloud, right? Very simple, very easy to use.
That is very good, Anand. But then I still have a feeling looking at your video that it appears that you are in the office. Are you sure you're not in the office and at home?
No, I'm definitely home. In fact, this device, what it does is it smartly zooms in. So the clutter in the room is hidden. If I zoom out for a second, then you will see the wider angle, which shows all the other things around me, right? But I don't want you guys to see that. So I just zoom in automatically just to show what I'm trying to tell you guys.
Wow, this is cool. So the camera automatically focuses on the person, which is in this case you, and then it automatically takes out the clutter. This is exactly what we need at home. But then Anand, I don't see any microphones over here. So are you using some Bluetooth microphones? Where are those microphones and the speakers as well?
No, you don't need any external microphones. So no cable or clutter. Like I said, it's just one device that looks like a sound bar. You place that on top of a TV, any TV connected via HDMI. That's it. So that bar has got camera, speakers, microphone, all built into one unit.
So Anand, I know that you work with a large dispersed team, right from New Zealand to India. So that's across many time zones. I think the difference would be about 6 hours or so. So this is a very good tool. In fact, even if it is not a COVID situation, when you are to work in a normal condition, I guess you will want to prefer working from home, isn't it?
Absolutely true, Vaibhav. So you can't go show up in office for a call at 6 a.m. in the morning or 10 p.m. at night. But it's important that you connect with your team over video because you cannot travel these days. So it's important for you to see them, connect with them, each time you speak to them. So high definition video, right in the comfort of your home, it's super helpful for me. Yeah.
This is really good. So Pankaj, we've got Anand, who's a power user, uses video to talk to his team across multiple time zones. But we've also got Karen, and Karen, she's also working from home, and she says it's her home office. So Karen, how do you convert your home into an office? Can you tell us?
Thank you for introducing me. So yes, I'm currently in my home office. If you could call it one, I'm actually in my room, as you can tell from the bedside and the window. So how do I actually convert my office, my room into an office is basically just plugging in a single device called the Desk Pro. So the Desk Pro is Cisco's latest desk-based collaboration device. It's sitting right in front of me, 27-inch screen, full HD, perfect.
Wow. Can you show us some of the things that it can do, especially the way it helps you to work as a power user?
Yes, definitely. So you can see that because of the COVID situation, everyone has become a remote worker overnight. So as remote workers, you would know by now that we spend long hours sitting behind our desk 8, 10, 12 hours straight. So what I like to do with the Desk Pro is, if I'm in the middle of a really long meeting, I'll stand up, give myself a bit of stretch so that I can get some blood circulation going. So you can see that the frame is still, my face is still in the frame, and no matter whether or not I stand or I sit, the frame is always intelligently following me. So that's one.
It is very good, Karen, because we've seen that many of the users, when they are continuously sitting in front of a computer, they get stressed, they have got neck pain, back pain. But then this unit, this solution of yours is actually equipped for standing while working or working while standing. So this is good for the health as well. What do you do when you've got customer-facing meetings, when you want to do some presentations? What is it that you do?
So you see that my background isn't very professional, even if I dress up professionally. So when I go into a customer meeting, what I like to do is just with a touch of my finger on the Desk Pro, I can immediately teleport myself into the Cisco office. And many a times when customers sees this, they'll ask me, "Hey, is the office open? I didn't know that." But I'll just let it slide. And if I want to make it a more casual environment, I could also go to the beach and conduct my meetings there. So which is a fantastic way of bringing additional entertainment in the middle of a meeting.
So now about the unit that you're using, Anand mentioned that he's got a device which connects using a USB and an HDMI cable to any display. So do you have a display separately? What is the unit that you've got?
So you don't have to worry about all the cables. You just need to worry about one, which is the USB-C cable. So my current setup on my desk, I have my laptop right next to the Desk Pro, connected to it with a single USB-C cable. So with that single cable, we can do three things. We can charge the laptop, you can extend the screen to the Desk Pro, and lastly, you could even do this thing called Touch Redirect. So if you're using a Windows 10 laptop, you could use the Desk Pro as a touch screen to control your laptop. How cool is that?
Hey, this is really cool. Can you also show us a photograph of the unit? Because I really like the factor that if I want to do something, I can use the touch screen and I can move my slides, or I can just, when I'm normal working, I can use the screen as a touch panel. This is really good. Karen, another question is that people usually want to do whiteboarding, because we've interacted with lots of companies, the marketing team, the designers, and then they pick up something and then they hold it in front of the camera like this. And it's really cumbersome. How do you manage this work?
So first, because of the Desk Pro, I can extend my display from the laptop to the screen. So I could show them, I could use those display as my backdrop. So you can see currently I'm on a website, but the website is my background. So not just the website, I could use the PowerPoint application as my backdrop also. So in this case, let me start the presentation. And right next to me, you can see a Desk Pro device. This is how it looks like on my desk. And I like to think that I look like this lady over here, sitting really nice in front of her table with a single Desk Pro on her table. So these are just some of the possibilities that we can do by extending our laptop background as our virtual background. So you also mentioned how am I able to do whiteboarding, right? So not just with a blank whiteboard, I could also start whiteboarding from this page as well. So I could just touch the bottom left corner of the screen and start whiteboarding directly on this page. So take, for example, this is one Desk Pro. This is another Desk Pro. And then if I want to, I'll be able to save this whiteboard and share with the rest of my teammates who's using WebEx. So not just that, I could also pull up a diagram that I have on the whiteboard. So in this case, you can see that I'm focusing on one area of a network diagram. So I can zoom out and see all the different parts of the network diagram here. I could continue doing a discussion, start drawing arrows here and there. I could create sticky pads and move it anywhere I want for action items. So the features really helps enhance the collaborative experience with the rest of your team members, be it all in the same office or in remote locations.
Karen, this is really cool. Now I understand why your presentations are so effective and why your meetings are so productive. You've got all the tools that you can make the meetings much more productive. So the whiteboarding, you can zoom in and then you can start wherever you've left the whiteboarding as well. And I like the sticky notes. So you can move the sticky notes and we can actually do a lot of things such as project planning or task activity, task distribution. This is really cool, Karen. And now I know the secret behind your productive meetings, Karen.
Definitely so.
Good. So we've seen a home office working environment, Pankaj, and we will now move to what would be a typical office scenario, and which was before COVID, and now with COVID as well, we've got some customizations done to our solution. So let us move to our Bangalore team, and we've joined into the Bangalore team to see what is it that we've got in the conference rooms. So, hi, Abhishek.
Hello. So I'm joined here with my colleague Keshav, and we are right now in front of a 70D screen, and this room has a capacity of 16. However, because of the COVID situation going on, we will be limiting the seating arrangement to 8. So this is quite a large room, and right now you can see the entire view of this particular room. So I'll request Keshav to just start and go towards that so that we can show the speaker tracker magic of this particular unit, which is very helpful for any business meeting when you're having it from conference room.
All right, so thank you, Abhishek, and thank you everyone joining from home. So let me quickly move towards the whole room. You can see how the room has been decorated, and you could see there's a beautiful view outside the window, right? And Abhishek has very rightly mentioned that in a COVID situation, you need to have a social distancing, which is very much important. You would see in an office like this in CXC Bangalore, there's only 2 people who have joined, and I'm sure we are connected very seamlessly with people from different zones and through home offices, right? So that's a very, very, very beautiful thing about collaboration. So let me quickly show the magic of speaker tracking capability which we have, and I'll ask Abhishek to enable this feature. And as you see, once the speaker tracking capability was enabled, the camera is quite intelligent enough of the device to track me as an active speaker, because I'm the one who is going to talk. And now the feed which is going outside towards you, it's of me. Now this how it helps. The question will come is, why speaker tracking? Now, if we have only 4 people coming in a conferencing room and we are scattered, right? We are like sitting in a far distance. Now, if Abhishek has to speak, the camera has to know there is a speaker also along with me. So what will happen is, let me allow Abhishek to talk about the camera which we have, that is the quad cam right now for this device. And you see how the camera will shift from me to Abhishek.
Thank you, Keshav. So once I start speaking, and I'm actually sitting right opposite to Keshav, so we have 4 set of cameras. So one is mainly focused on the entire room, and the other 3 would be focusing on the active speaker. So once we enable the speaker tracker, anyone who is speaking from the audience, from the participants, their face will go straight as a feed to the remote participants who are joining. So let us quickly...
Exactly. I think, Abhishek, one more thing which I want to mention is, like, if you see I come inside the space and the camera knows that there is 2 active speakers who are talking. So it doesn't cut off the other person, right? We're still maintaining a distance and you could see 2 people in the same frame. So it gives a front seat to everyone. So that's a beautiful feature of this device. And this is a dual screen device which we are in front of. And it's why dual screen? Because it's got 2 screens, which is 70-inch, and we call it Room 70D, with all the microphones, the speakers, all embedded. The Codec Pro, which is the main function of the main functionality which works with this device, is being embedded. And this can be stagnant. You could keep it as a stand, or you could just wall mount it. So Abhishek, yeah, so you want to speak on something?
Sure. So let us quickly show you behind the technology, how the speaker tracker and how the diagnostics work for this particular device. So I'll quickly enable the diagnostics, and you will see this is how it works. So now you can see a frame, which is right now on me and Keshav as it is getting all, both of us in the same frame. And you will also see green square. And we have, I have double lining in it because I'm the active speaker and the camera is focusing on me right now. So the moment Keshav starts speaking, it will switch to Keshav.
Exactly. And you would also see on top of my screen, there are two important things which is appearing, which is called the people count, because it needs to know that how many people have joined in this meeting. And you will also use this to know how the room is being utilized in a COVID situation. On the other side of the screen, on the top, you will see there are a few information coming from the lenses. So it shows how the lens of the camera is working right now. So these are the information which you can collect and you can use it the way you want to use it. Now this framing is again why important. As you see, the room appears like all cluttered and there is like empty chairs. So why do we have to show all the room environment? You just have to show the people and the essential thing which we hold, right? So this is from the device, from Bangalore CXC. Is there any question to it? You could ask, please.
So this is really cool. So now we can get the names of the people, which is the name tags, the name label that we've got. We also get the people count, and with the diagnostic, with the advanced level of diagnostics information that we have, as Pankaj said, we can use that data to give an alert. So if there are more people that are there in the conference room, it can trigger a COVID alert. The safe distance norms can then be enforced and can be practiced. So this is really cool, Abhishek and Keshav. Thanks for showing us this demonstration. So now we've seen a home office, a power user. We've seen the scenario from an office, and many of us use computers, your laptops, your mobile phones for day-to-day work. We've got a wonderful solution called as the WebEx Teams, which simplifies work, which makes you much more productive. Let us quickly see what is WebEx Teams and how does it help do our day-to-day work. And this would really be work from anywhere because the same application is available across devices. So over to you, Anant, and tell us what is it that the WebEx Teams can give to a power user.
All right. So you have already seen Pankaj explaining about the collaboration, how it would be an important tool when you're on the go or when you are having a mobile as a tool for you, right? So we have a client called WebEx Teams, which is a collaborative tool. You can see this normally can sit with your laptop or your mobile. The advantage of this app is you can have a seamless communication with your colleagues, maybe one-on-one or maybe with group of people. So if you see what I'm sharing in front of you, you can see the grouping there. You can see the number of people who are there in the group are more than 1,800. So this space has about more than 1,800 people into it. We can see the messages being shared. The other important feature of WebEx Teams is the persistency. So what persistency means, if you have someone added today in this space, or maybe 1 week after you are adding someone else, he may not have the access to the previous conversation or anything that's being shared previously, right? But in WebEx Teams, you have this capability that anybody who's being added to the space can have access to even something that is being shared a year ago. So that's the persistency of this app. The other feature that I would like to show here is you can see that there is content being shared among ourselves. There is being some whiteboarding being done that you've already seen what Karen has shown using a Desk Pro device. We can do the same thing using a laptop as well as mobile. So this WebEx, the whiteboard feature enabled all over the platform. So this is something that is very interesting about WebEx Teams. Apart from that, how about you have some bots integrated wherein your work is reduced? Maybe I'll just type the case number, right? I'll just type it and why not I just come to know what is this, right? So if I want to know what's the status of the given ticket number, instead of going to a portal and typing each and everything into the portal, why not have a bot and give me the detailed description of what it is, right? So this is a cool feature of WebEx Teams.
Wow, this is really nice, Anant, because you can now do a lot of things, just not exchange messages. You can share files. You can add people who are new to the organization or new to a particular discussion, and they can view the past content. You can do whiteboarding, though, of course, I mean, we have to restrict ourselves to the capabilities of the mouse or the trackpad that you've got, not as fluently as Karen does her presentations. But then it works. I can see the whiteboarding. I can do some whiteboarding from a good quality phone as well. So this is really useful for people who are on the go, and this truly emancipates the work from anywhere concept.
Absolutely.
So thanks everybody. So Pankaj, we've actually seen real life scenarios of people working from home, being productive in their day-to-day work, being able to use cutting-edge technology and to increase their quality of life. What better can we ask from technology today?
Thanks, Vaibhav. I hope you enjoyed the engaging demos by the team and hope we have been able to provoke you to give a serious thought to workplace transformation and its importance in the success of your digital transformation efforts. Me and my team have worked with organizations of all sizes to support them on business continuity as well as on their journey towards workplace transformation. And we will be delighted to work with you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, gentlemen, for showing us how Cisco WebEx solution not only makes work from home possible, but also makes users more productive in a secure environment. Nowadays, the most discussed topic in a boardroom is information security. Let's hear it from experts on how Cisco Securities is helping small business customers simplify security so they can focus on accelerating their business.
You're washing your hands diligently, wearing masks for your protection, and social distancing for your safety. But what about the safety of your business? Cisco Umbrella gives your business network fast and effective protection. The cloud-based DNS layer security protects your teams wherever they are, so work goes on uninterrupted. Stay unstoppable.
Hello all. Very good afternoon. I'm Raghunandan Kaushik, Security Lead for Small Business, Cisco India Region. It's my privilege to be the host for this session and hereby extend you all a very warm welcome. We have planned 2 interesting sessions for the next 30 minutes or so. So in the first session, we'll have a fireside chat with the industry peer. And in the second, we will demonstrate simplified security architecture for small business. Now, let me introduce 2 distinguished speakers for the fireside chat session. From Cisco side, we have Vishak Raman, Director, Security Business for India and South Asia. Vishak brings with him more than 20+ years of experience in the information security side, with various stints in product management, sales, marketing, and business development. In the last 3 years, Vishak's leadership has put Cisco security business in a high growth trajectory in the India and South region. From the industry, we have Mr. Madhavan K, General Manager, IT Operations for Lumina Datamatics Limited. Madhavan is a visionary and a strategic IT infrastructure information security professional. He has a rich experience of more than 28 years and is diversified in the area of strategy, operations, security, risk, and compliance. And that is what he drives for Lumina Datamatics. Now, I want to also introduce you what Lumina Datamatics do as far as business goes. Lumina Datamatics is a pioneer and a trusted partner for several companies in the global publishing and retail business. They serve their needs in content, the technology, and commerce. As a strategic partner, Lumina Datamatics helps their clients to improve their business competitiveness and achieve operational efficiency. The benefits of using Lumina solutions includes reduced time to market or for new products and services, increased efficiency in the business processes, as well as deep reader and buyer insights. With this, I would now hand over to Mr. Vishak Raman for the fireside chat session with Mr. Madhav. Over to you, Vishak. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghu, for the nice introduction. And thank you, Mr. Madhavan, for taking the time out and talking to us. Lumina Datamatics is in the area of publishing. You do a lot of assisted online shopping, e-retailing solution. You deal with a lot of intellectual property because you have pre-publishing content, which is the intellectual property, which you need to protect. But also, how do you tackle those real-time requests, what you're coming in for assisted online shopping? And especially during the pandemic situation, how are you actually coping up
in securing your infrastructure. What are those challenges, if you can walk us through for us? Over to you, Mr. Madhavan.
Thank you, Mr. Vishak, and thank you, Raghu. So first of all, as you rightly said, Lumina Datamatics, we are in the field of both e-publishing and e-retail. So as you know, we deal with a lot of content management, providing pre-publishing solutioning for IP-based books like scientific, technical, and medical. So all these books are critical from a data point of view, where these are all yet to be released content. And from that point of view, the security becomes a very, very critical aspect of our business. And secondly, on the e-retail and e-commerce side, we handle a lot of live support for our customers and their customers at the end of the day. So a secure access to their environment is also a very critical aspect of us. So the current challenges of what we are facing are, one, we are forced to quickly choose among a multi-breed, complex, multi-vendor security environment. And then this poses a big challenge, to identify the right kind of solution, to identify the right kind of security product that need to be fit in. So that is a big challenge. And the second thing is that the pandemic immediately changed our business model. Traditionally, we are a 24/7 house running 3 shifts, and then with no work from home policy in place. And today we are working at 100% work from home. So that is a total shift on our business method of handling our productivity. So that was a second challenge, posing an immediate requirement on safe and secure remote access, both into our production environment and also to our client environment. And the next thing is that we had a huge challenge on the typical threats that is prevalent everywhere. So irrespective of the size of the company, recently, one of our competitor was hit by a ransomware attack, and then they're much larger to us. But then even for them, it took almost 3 to 4 days for them to recover. And the learning from our competition, we quickly realized that we have to equip ourselves more with the security control. Not only that, most of our customers came back and then told many of the security requirements as a mandatory for getting us the work and the project or to continue the business. That totally changed the outlook, the way security was looked upon all these days.
That's a very great summary on your customer challenges, what you're actually going through. Hackers don't differentiate whether you are a large enterprise or a small enterprise, and they're going after the intellectual property and the customer assets, what you actually protect. That's a very good summary of your challenges. But what are the solutions of Cisco, what you looked at for securing your environment?
Cisco has been our existing vendor and partner, as we have invested already on Cisco ASA firewalls across all our locations. And not only that, our email security is being taken care by Cisco Cloud Email Security Solutioning. And then Cisco, during the pandemic time, they acted like a true friend, where they voluntarily came and then offered us free trial editions of their other security products, right from the remote access Anyconnect, Cisco Umbrella for the internet DNS protection, and then the Cisco AMP Advantage for our endpoint EDR protection. And added to that, they also gave some licenses on the multi-factor authentication on Cisco Duo. So this actually kind of helped us to quickly turn around our work from home capabilities. You wouldn't believe that thanks to the Cisco's timely support, we were able to quickly ramp up 50% of productivity in less than 8 hours on the pandemic. The first lockdown started at Mumbai, where we were all working, and then there was an announcement lockdown starts now. So then we have to scramble and then get things done. And then thanks to Cisco, they kind of helped up, activated their trial licenses, and then in the next 4-6 hours, we were up and running. So thanks to Cisco on that.
And what were your learnings? It must be tough on you with hackers going after your assets. During the pandemic situation, you didn't have security operations people managing the setup. What were your learnings, Mr. Madhavan, if you have to share it with our industry peers?
So the learnings are as follows. Number one, earlier methodology of choosing the best of breed from a multiple, diverse, complex may not work in today's environment. So it is better to stick with the one single larger player who has a holistic approach towards their security offerings. That is where Cisco played a very important role. Like what they did was that they were able to give me all the feeds from my Cisco email security solutioning, from my existing firewall feeds, and added to that now the endpoint. So all these three security feeds were coming into a single dashboard on their Cisco Threat Intelligence dashboard. And this helped us a lot. Second, with the intelligence that their Talos engine was bringing in, and now with the SecureX platform bringing in, it kind of equipped us with another 3 or 4 SOC analysts in my payroll, because Cisco helped us to give me a single-click visibility and a deep analysis on the threats that were prevalent. Like while we were doing the 2 months POC on all these products, I was sweetly surprised and shocked to see almost close to 350K malicious attempts happening in our network. And then you name the threats, whether it is a ransomware or a botnet or a crypto mining or a rat attack. So you name the threat, all the threats were prevalent in our network. Like now the umbrella was able to pop up all these threats. And next thing was that the AMP, like while our existing AV-based, signature-based AV solution was there, AMP kind of opened up a new thing where it not only helped us to attack the existing threats, it helped us to attack the emerging threats also. So as a CISO or as an IT head, it is very important to know both the known and also the unknown. So that is where Cisco plays a very important role, where they are your invisible partner in ensuring that the zero trust is truly provided to you in these testing times of pandemic. And we also look forward to continue our journey with Cisco in the other aspects of the security products that they are offered to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Madhavan, for explaining this. Your journey in looking from a point product approach to a platform approach like SecureX, where you're seeing actual benefits on the business side in terms of security operation and reducing the time from detection to remediation and then actually automating that as well. While technology is one piece of it, but what are the business outcomes you've been able to show to your management in terms of beyond these detection of threats? What were your business outcomes which you would like to share to the larger audience?
Basically, like one big advantage was that when we were able to showcase that we have implemented so many security controls, and the name, the Cisco, the brand value, helped us to take it far to our customers. Like the customers, they were very happy when we shared our dashboard results, and then they were very happy to see our implementation success on the AMP and the controls that we were able to bring in. And particularly today, many of the customers, they also want to know, like, all the devices are being properly hardened, or say enough security is put in place. So this helped us in turn to get more work, like during the pandemic days. So in fact, many customers gave us additional work because we were one of the few companies who were able to give them 100% productivity even during the work from home scenario. That was a big win-win for us by deploying the Cisco security products.
That's an amazing story, what you have summarized, both on the technology side and on the business side of it. Thank you so much for sharing this journey with Cisco Security. Really appreciate your time, Mr. Madhavan, and good luck, and looking forward to have a long-term relationship between Cisco and Lumina Datamatics. Thank you once again.
Thanks for the opportunity. All the best to Cisco also. Thank you.
With this, we'll shift gears to the live demonstration. And I would like to invite my dear colleague, Mohammad Ashraf Ali, who is the lead architect, solution engineering, cybersecurity for Cisco India. Ashraf is a veteran. Ashraf is a solution engineering leader, and he's responsible for driving cybersecurity business in our region. And he's the veteran in the field of IT and cybersecurity, almost more than 2 decades, and still counting very strong. And he's our tech man whom we all lean upon. Over to you, Mr. Ashraf.
Thank you, Ishaq. As you can see, Cisco has the broadest cybersecurity portfolio in the industry, covering most of the threat vectors that we see in the threat landscape today. The portfolio kind of fits into a wide spectrum of customer use cases, starting with small enterprises, medium and large enterprises. For the next few minutes, we have handpicked a few set of products that best suits small business enterprises. So I'm going to take the shoes of a small business enterprise IT leader and take you through this use case driven demo. So before we begin, we all agree with these IT needs of small business. We need to have the solutions to be simple to deploy, easy to manage, and future-proof. When we say simple to deploy, what we are talking about is quick time to value. I should have the tool plugged into the network or plugged into my cloud services and should deliver value as soon as possible. And then low-touch provisioning. We're looking at cloud-delivered solutions so that there is no much of truck roll for somebody to turn up the services and go live with it, and future-proof as well. Cisco brings with it a huge set of threat intel capability, and a lot of its services are cloud-delivered, which keeps the services updated both from a threat intel standpoint and feature standpoint. Now let's look at a model enterprise. What we call here is Smart Biz Corp. So this enterprise, if you look at it, has remote users, office users. It has devices, which is corporate and BYOD, and it's a distributed enterprise. We see 5 different locations connected over the network. And then the applications that this enterprise is using is mostly cloud-driven, be it Office 365, and some of these applications are IaaS on the IaaS clouds. Now, how do we apply security in this case? We will have to take a 3-step approach. Let's start with connecting the distributed enterprise, the users, the remote workers. How do we get them to connect to the application securely? So we look at that in the connect phase. On the secure phase, we look at the key threat vectors where the attackers kind of target small enterprises. Starting with endpoint, we'll move to email and then internet access security. And lastly, with all these tools, you need a simple management solution, something that gets you a unified dashboard, allows your lean IT workforce to spot those threats very quickly and take actions without having to jump on multiple consoles. So we look at the managed piece of it with the integrated solution. So let's start with Connect One, right? So how do we connect? There are options to connect enterprises today. We can go for standalone devices, connect the WAN links, manage the WAN links, configure them with internet-based VPNs or MPLS-based VPNs. But today, we have a cloud-managed solution, which is much smarter, much easier to manage, simple to deploy. We are talking about Meraki solutions here. So Cisco's portfolio has an SMB-driven solution, which is Meraki MX. All you need to do is deploy the box, connect an internet pipe to that. It contacts back to the cloud and downloads the firmware, syncs up with the cloud, then it's on the cloud for you to manage. So once it comes on the cloud, all you need to do is choose between the VPN options, as simple as the interface that you see here. You can choose a MX device to be a hub device or a spoke device, depending on the role of the office and the architecture that you want to have. In this case, I'm going ahead and deploying a virtual MX in the Amazon cloud. So in this case, we also have a virtual appliance that can go into any of the clouds and make it look like your centralized data center, and all applications will reside out of that. And then you have spoke locations where you just configure them as spokes and then define what are the hub sites that it should be connecting into. So this is what I will see once the device gets synced with the cloud and it's available for me to configure. So if I have to look at connecting these devices, there are 3 choices I have. Either I can manage the device as a standalone device, which does not have to have an SD-WAN solution. It's internet bound, so all access is happening through internet, which is where you can use the off mode in this, or if it is a device which is in the hub location, configured as a hub, and then the rest of the devices can be configured as spoke. So there's an auto VPN that gets built. You just have to define what are those networks that get routed over this auto VPN. In addition to that, I also have security features built into this product, which is I can start with doing content filtering. Anything that is not that is off the VPN that has to go to internet has to be filtered, has to be applied for web security control. So I have content filtering where I can apply category-based filters and URL filtering solutions. I also have threat protection, which allows me to do anti-X, antivirus, anti-malware, also do file sandboxing from the cloud. Simple option to enable that. In addition to that, I can also turn on intrusion prevention solutions, or I can operate as intrusion detection solution. The rule set gets downloaded automatically. I just have to choose the mode of rule set that I need to operate with. The smart rules gets downloaded and gets updated automatically. So it's as simple as that. Now, let's move on to the next level, which is secure level. So once I've connected all my branches and I have enabled network access to my applications on the cloud, now I need to look at how do I secure all my users, all my network, and all my devices that are connecting in. Remember, today we have users also in the remote model, so we need to be cognizant of that fact. So let's start with devices here. So before I could secure any device, I need to take control of the device, which is what we call endpoint management, right? Gone are those days where we have an MDM solution and then we have a desktop, laptop endpoint management solution. Today we have a unified endpoint management solution, and that's what Meraki delivers to you. So within the same Meraki cloud, you have the option of opting for a unified endpoint management. It kind of helps you manage Windows, Mac OS, iOS, Android, and Chrome OS as well. So any kind of endpoint can be managed through this solution, and it's cloud delivered again. All you need to go through is a simple provisioning process, which allows you to onboard mobiles and mobiles and laptops or even desktops based on the operating system that you have. So in this case, I can show you some of the simple options here. Systems Manager from its console. So this is what you will see once the devices are onboarded. You can manage those devices, also take remote access for any troubleshooting. How do you add a device? Very simple. You either have a profile that gets configured if you have to look at Windows, or use push an agent, and the agent gets installed there, and that becomes your anchor point to report into cloud. Moving on to the next step, we've connected the network, we've taken control of the endpoints. Now let's look at securing these endpoints. The first and foremost thing that comes to our mind for securing endpoints is antivirus, right? But gone are those days where you can just survive with signature-based defenses. Today, we need a next-gen endpoint security solution that kind of manages your endpoint from threats, be it ransomware, malware, virus. All these threats have to be managed from one unified solution. And that's where we have AMP for Endpoint solution, which is cloud managed. It's a lightweight solution. All you need to do is push a URL to the end user or push an app through the endpoint management solution, and you have the endpoint under your control for all the threat detection and threat response capabilities. It also comes with auto remediation. One of the features which I would call is very much useful for small businesses to say, because you don't have to go through the process of isolating an endpoint, investigating an event to control some of those endpoints. Let's first look at how we onboard computers. It's a simple process. You have a connector, you just choose the policy, a policy that allows you to define what kind of actions you will take. And then, once you build the policy, you have a URL. You can publish the URL to the end users. Once they click on them, it will start downloading the agent, or you can download and distribute the agent through some of the file shares that you normally use for management of or for IT operations. So once you onboard, you can see dashboards like this that helps you see how many threats are getting detected, how many exploits are getting prevented, what are the vulnerabilities that you have on your endpoints. what is the status of my computer's footprint, how many devices I have, how many of them are out of date, how many connectors are out of date. All this is available from the console. And as I mentioned, there is automated actions possible. When you have a compromise, you don't have to go through a major ticketing process. There's an automation to isolate them, or you can also automate to take forensic snapshots for you to do further analysis once your security engineer is back to work. So moving on to the next step, now that I have done with the securing endpoints part, let's look at what is the next threat I need to be looking at. Email. Email is one of the prominent threat vectors today. More than 80% of the attacks happen through email vector. And this is something that we cannot ignore from a security standpoint. When you look at it, whether it is Office 365 or G Suite, there are certain basic capabilities that you get out of it. In order to make it comprehensive, you need an solution, external vendor solution like these to make sure that you have all the security threats covered from a defense standpoint. So in this case, what we are seeing here is Cloud Mailbox Defense. It is a very simple 4-step process that you can enable the service. There is no change of MX card. That's the beauty of the whole solution. It uses simple journaling to scan all your inbound mails and your attachments for threats, and then it goes live within 5 minutes. All it does is it connects through an API to do the scanning process in itself. Again, it's an autopilot mode, I would say, from a small business standpoint. And then the last one, which is Internet Vector, right? We earlier saw that Meraki solution had content filtering, had advanced threat. Then why are we talking about an additional solution here? Here's the reason, right? If we have to ensure that the security for the end user is portable, whether the user is inside the campus, inside the office space, or working from home, we need a cloud-delivered solution like Umbrella. The box in the premise can ensure that users inside the office is getting all the security controls that we need. But if you adopt a cloud-delivered solution like Umbrella, you can move security policies with the user wherever they go so that the security controls are always in place in their work time or even when they're using the laptop for other purposes. So Umbrella is the first line of defense. I would say it starts with DNS layer protection. It also goes all the way to web layer protection for you. Umbrella is simple to deploy again. It's supported in a format where you can attach a branch office to Umbrella, and you can also attach the end user compute to a solution like Umbrella out here. So let me take you through some of the features that Umbrella comes up with. It supports multiple deployment modes. You can configure a device and enforce traffic into Umbrella through the device, or you can use an agent to onboard a device. So there are a couple of options for deployment here. I'm going to show you, in this case, I'm going to use a roaming agent solution. A roaming agent is another a piece of software that you install on the endpoints that ensures that all your web traffic and DNS traffic is looked up for threats. What kind of threats can you look up for? It sees all those domains, bad domains that are related to phishing campaigns, ransomwares, malwares, crypto mining. So all those domain lookups are checked against them. It'll also do file analysis. As the file moves through the internet, you can pick up the file hashes, do a lookup on malware, ThreatGrid malware database, and see if there's any content that is of threat for the organization. You can also do application controls. Applications beyond the browser-based access. There are a lot of apps that are being used by end users, whether it's for social networking or file storage. So you can look for those apps which you don't want the users to access and block them as well through app control. And you can also discover through Shadow IT discovery policies what are those apps that are being used which you don't want the organization to be using. So that is, so this is the Shadow IT Discovery Dashboard. Finally, we looked at Umbrella, we looked at AMP for endpoint, we looked at Meraki, we looked at Cloud Mailbox Defense for email. What happens when a SecOps teams have to manage all these different consoles? It's very tough, right? So what we have done here is we have come up with a solution that helps our customers look at all this from a unified dashboard. What they can see on the dashboard is metrics that are very critical for the team to monitor. Things like the endpoint, a number of endpoints that are compromised in the environment, email boxes that are detected viruses, events that are going through the Meraki solution, which is possibly a threat. All those comes in one single console for your SecOps team to take action on them. It also comes with automation capabilities built into it. That kind of helps you to eliminate the need for a level 1 engineer, so that all the basic level 1 tasks can be automated, so that you can go after the actionable insights very quickly instead of going through triaging, enrichment, and things like that. Very easy and simple solution for a small business entity. And finally, it also gives you an option to integrate with third-party solutions. So if you have a incident management console, any incident that has to move from security to the ITSM can be pipelined directly from this tool onto the SIM consoles, and ServiceNow integration is available off the hat. It also has AD integration to help you enrich with identity data. So it has customizable dashboards, so you can bring in what kind of views that you want to bring up in the console for you. And it also allows you to have a ribbon which kind of survives in your console to whichever interface that you go to. You can still continue to see the metrics from SecureX on the ribbon. So finally, if you look at the overall solution that I kind of went through, I'm sure you would agree that it addresses most of the challenges that we are seeing here. Number one, all the solution that we looked at is cloud enabled, and it's asset light. You don't have to look at buying big boxes to deliver to get these outcomes, and easy to manage. There are options where you have seen it gets plugged into the cloud, and you are able to configure things on the GUI without having to have highly skilled network engineers from an SD-WAN or the auto VPN standpoint. And of course, all these solutions are future-proof because it's cloud delivered. Cisco will always be shipping features to that. So long as you have an active contract, you will have all the new features that are coming up with it available for you. With that, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashraf. I am sure hearing you, our small business customers would have got more confidence that simplifying security is realistically possible. I would take this opportunity to especially thank Mr. Madhavan, who took his valuable time and shared his insights, which is invaluable to all of us. Probably the most compelling message he left was the platform-centric approach, which simplifies security, makes security more affordable, and definitely helps organizations to gain competitive advantage. Special thanks to Vishak again and the entire marketing team of Cisco, and to all of you who attended this evening. Hope your time was worth spent. Thank you, stay safe, and good luck.
If a danger that is completely invisible can stop an entire nation, imagine what it could do to your business. Cisco AMP keeps your team's devices completely protected. It detects and stops any malware attack in minutes. Your business remains completely safe and totally secure. Stay unstoppable.
Thank you, gentlemen, for showing us how Cisco WebEx solution not only makes work from home possible, but also makes users more productive in a secure environment. Nowadays, the most discussed topic in a boardroom is information security. Let's hear it from experts on how Cisco Securities is helping small business customers simplify security so they can focus on accelerating their business.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Udit Goyal. I lead strategy for Cisco India. Thank you so much for taking time out to attend the Small Business Virtual Summit and being here with us for a very, very interesting conversation that we are about to have on how SMBs are managing and thriving in the present crisis. In India, we have more than 63 million SMBs. They contribute more than 1/3 of the country's GDP. And moreover, they also contribute more than 40% of the overall workforce of this country. More than 98% of these enterprises are micro enterprises, which means they have less than 10 employees. No large enterprise in this country or any industry vertical ecosystem can operate without SMBs. They are an integral part of our entire value chain, be it upstream, be it downstream. In essence, SMBs are the backbone of this Indian economy. On the one hand, we have the second largest base of SMBs in the world, next to China. But on the other hand, more than 2/3 of the SMBs in India are still offline. They still operate offline. As per the Google KPMG report, digital SMBs generate more revenues, more profits compared to their offline counterparts. Similarly, digital SMBs employ more people than offline SMBs. So in the present crisis, if you talk about it, many of the SMBs are facing a lot of challenges, primarily slowdown in their operations, mainly because of 3 reasons. Number 1, low liquidity. Number 2, supply chain issues. Number 3, lack of workforce. However, any crisis presents challenges as well as opportunities. It reminds me of a famous quote of one of the famous author, Greg Kincaid. No matter how much falls on us, we will keep plowing ahead. That is the only way to keep the roads clear. And I think he was absolutely spot on. This is the time when Rukna Mana Hai. In present times, the businesses that have planned their response, in this time, the businesses that have planned their rebound, and the businesses that are reimagining their future possibilities are the ones that are going to march ahead in future. If you talk about India, digital transformation of businesses in India has happened at a very, very slow pace in the past. As per the recent Morgan Stanley post-COVID report, India is going to see a huge uptick in the digital transformation of the businesses. It is expected that the goalpost of digital transformation, which was around 3 to 5 years in the pre-COVID world, will move from 3 to 5 years to 1 to 2 years in the post-COVID world. To discuss more on how SMBs are managing and thriving during this crisis, it is my tremendous pleasure to welcome Atul Bansal, who is the co-founder and managing director of Velocys India Limited. Atul leads the effort to scale Velocys into the top IT solutions and service provider in India. Under his leadership, Velocys is transitioning into a business solution provider from being a technology solution provider. In other words, Atul is a perfect example of the true spirit of SMB, Rukna Mana Hai. In the last 7 years, he has grown Velocys at a CAGR of more than 30%, and he made sure that Velocys has emerged as a key IT player in India. His mantra has always been to help customers derive more value out of their IT investments and enhance their digital transformation journey. With experience of more than 27 years in the IT industry, Atul strongly believes in consistently enhancing customer and the employee satisfaction at Velocys. Atul is an alumnus of Delhi College of Engineering and Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi. Welcome, Atul Bansal, to Small Business Virtual Summit.
Thank you, Udit. Thank you for calling me to the show. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so we should get started. By the way, Atul, I'm getting a lot of questions from the audiences. I have some prepared questions, but because now we have got a lot of other questions too, so I'll be doing some mix and match. I hope that's fine with you. Okay?
Perfect.
So the first question is, as we know, Atul, SMB sector has been impacted the most from the COVID crisis. What, in your view, are the challenges faced by SMBs in India, and how Velocys is managing this crisis?
Very well started, Udit. You really summed up the whole issue that the SMBs are facing. And it is a true statement that SMBs are more impacted than anybody else. You mentioned about liquidity issues. You mentioned about manpower issues. And manpower issues is not only about availability of manpower. Today, the bigger issue with it is whether your manpower, whether your team is motivated. These are uncertain times. When everybody gets up in the morning and they do not know the road ahead, it becomes a bigger challenge. Then there is the market shrinking issue. You have goods, you don't have a market. You don't have goods because the supply chain is broken. So it's a whole supply chain issue. And one issue that has emerged from this COVID crisis, which is work from home. So all SMBs in whichever sector, their people started working from home. Now there is no method to ensure productivity, manage motivation, manage training. So that's a new issue. So these are the 3-4 issues that SMBs are facing, and they're very, very serious issues. Well, first is the realization of issues that these are tough times, right? First problem that, we try to address is that how to keep our team in sync. If your team is in sync, you can manage any problem. So we started sharing the state of Velocys, sharing the state of economy to the best of our knowledge with all our people. We always used to say in Velocys that we'll be together. We realized this is the time to live it. Right? So that is the first thing we did. Our leadership team came together. We decided that all of us at Velocys are going to pass and live this time together. Second thing we did was, in this time, focused on trainings, upskilling, and a lot of other motivational stuff. Our corporate communication team, they have these weekly contests. What did you cook? Or can you sing for us? Right? So keeping the whole team together. Then focusing on the cash flow cycle was very, very important. And by cash flow cycle, I do not mean what the money is coming into the company. Whether we are paying our vendors in time. Are the salaries going on time? Maintaining the whole cycle so that as a country, as a community, as an ecosystem, we can face this problem together. Right? So these are the couple of things that we have been doing as a team to face this crisis. Then we are now more closer to our customers than before. We are talking to them practically every day and asking them, can we help you? I would like to say very happily that today we are closer to them than before. Then customers are telling us that, look, this is what we do not need now. We may need this. So our innovation team is constantly working in modifying our offerings to suit the customer's modified needs and probably what will go into the future. So this is how we are managing the crisis.
Okay, good to know that, especially the focus on the people part of it. I think as a follow-up question, Atul, what are the key areas of investment or the focus areas of investment that you are looking right now in order to keep running the show? And how are you rebounding and reimagining profitability for your business? Or is it like you just want to focus on the business continuity right now and plan the profitability maybe a few months down the line?
उदित आपके उसका थीम है रुकना मना है. तो पहली तो बात ये है कि रुकना बिल्कुल मना है. All SMBs, not only us, not only we have to manage the crisis today, we have to prepare that when the market opens, how do we address the market? And also, this is the time to prepare for the future also. तो आप ये समझ लीजिए कि तीनों काम साथ में करने हैं. As I said before, our biggest investment right now is people. Because it is people, first of all, who will prepare the organization not only for today, but for the future. So we are investing heavily in upskilling, training, and seeing what new skills are needed, because you see, we are a people-dependent company. Second thing we are focusing on is innovation. What will be needed in the modified world? Because, as all of us are saying that, look, life is not going to be same as before. Work from home is a reality now. So you need new solutions to manage that. Businesses want resiliency. They want the availability of data and applications all the time. They want to create a seamless experience for their clients, which calls for more, what you call digital transformation. So as a company, we have to invest in each of these areas. Till yesterday, we used to talk to our clients as to whether we can help them in their digital transformation. Today, Udit, we have to digitally transform.
Correct.
Right? So these are the investments that SMBs have to make today. What is going to be relevant in this new world? Modify your offerings. Invest there. Invest in innovation. But Udit, I would like to repeat, most importantly, invest in people. This is the time all companies, they have to realize this thing, that the more they invest in their teams, more they invest in their people, they'll be prepared to face the situation, for the rebound, and for the future.
I think good to know, Atul, because what you are indicating is talent, trust, and innovation are the three key areas where you'll be primarily investing in this time. Good to know that.
Absolutely.
Atul, we are also hearing certain sectors of the industry are doing well. Certain sectors of the industry are not doing well. For example, education and healthcare, we all knew that they are doing well in this present crisis. These are the sectors which were, I would say, kind of completely resistant to the digital transformation. In the COVID times, actually these sectors, which were called as traditional sectors, have kind of became more focused towards digital. So what do you think in your own experience? What are the trends that you are seeing in the industry? And maybe in your own customer base, what are the trends that you saw? Which sectors are doing well, which sectors are not doing so well in this current crisis?
देखिए, आपने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा, बहुत सारे सेक्टर्स चैलेंज्ड हैं. Aviation, hospitality. Then we talk of manufacturing, because either material is not there or labor is not there. Auto manufacturing has been very severely hit, while pharma is doing well. तो बहुत सारे सेक्टर्स हैं. Reality देख लीजिए, बिल्कुल ही डाउन है. Labor is not there. What do you construct? What do you construct, right? And then what do you sell? But बहुत सारे sectors हैं जिनके लिए new hope has come. Any sector which is connected with digital transformation is doing well. You see all the content providers, all telcos, e-commerce, all digital platforms. Today, your vegetable vendor, milk vendor, everybody is accepting payment through digital platforms. What we have not been able to achieve in last so many years, the COVID crisis actually has provided a way forward. And I do hope that it will lead to formalization of our economy. It will lead to our economy becoming more digital. So these are some trends that are, totally not to be missed. And then, this work from home is a reality now. You are going to have long-term impact on the way we live and work, and long-term impact on office real estate. Lastly, Udit, we are going to have a lot of automation. All companies, you won't believe, we took some steps towards making some offerings for Industry 4.0. In good times, customers were not interested. But today, when chips are down, customers are, he's asking, can I automate my manufacturing? Can I link my two machines? Then obviously movement to the cloud, because customers want resiliency. These trends are truly there.
So basically you're saying that COVID will make sure that the digital transformation will really get the decent uplift which was waiting for the last couple of years, right?
100%.
Okay. I think, Atul, one question which I got from the audience is, what are the key areas of the business challenges you are facing right now, and how technology is helping you to get away with these challenges, or basically how you're helping your own company as well as your own customers with the technology?
देखिए, उसमें सबसे पहली बात तो जो मैंने कही, हम तो सबसे ज्यादा ध्यान दे रहे हैं people पे. It is only due to technology that we are in touch with our people daily. You know, we are using Cisco platforms. So practically none of our team members, not even one, you know, is alone at his house all the time. His team lead, his team members, his colleagues are talking. We are talking to each other, right? Then we are talking to our customers on a daily basis. You'll be surprised to know that our innovation journey, which we started 2 years back, has gathered momentum. Different teams, you know, collaboration in all organizations is a challenge. How do different teams work with each other? You have platforms where people don't work with each other. During this crisis, so the way teams are working with each other, you know, we have got a fillip to our innovation journey. In fact, during this COVID times, we have launched a product called Overseer, which is a SD-WAN product. I won't go into details, but what we would have done in 8 to 9 months, we have done in 3 months. So it is technology today which is helping organizations actually breathe, survive, keep their teams motivated, keep their teams together, keeping the mental health together.
Correct.
It is technology only, nothing else.
Okay. I think Atul well said on the technology side that it is helping these businesses to do their normal operations, as well as making sure that all these people are bonded together, which would have been a nightmare if we were not having a technology in the current crisis, right? So good to know that. I think one other thing which we have heard and which we have seen historically too, whenever any crisis happens, many times leaders are born, and many times many of the leaders die too in the times of crisis, right? It is a true test of leadership. But what do you think in these times leaders should do differently as opposed to what they were doing pre-crisis? And how do you see the role of trust becoming more and more important in these times?
देखिए, मैं आपसे एक बात कहूंगा, ये टाइम लीडरशिप से ज्यादा कलेक्टिव लीडरशिप का है. इस टाइम जो है, अगर कोई लीडर फैसले अकेले करता था, ये वो टाइम है जब लोग सब साथ मिलके फैसले करें. पहली तो बात ये. दूसरी बात जो है, आई थिंक इस टाइम सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है एम्पैथी. I personally feel that on human angle, crisis is not as big as it has been, you know, made out to be. सारी organizations को we have to take long-term decisions. And in long-term decisions, you cannot keep your people aside. You have to take people along. And trust me, Udit, all team members, all people, all customers, if you ask for help, they are ready to help. But sometimes if we take decisions that we deem right, collectively I can tell you, you know, much better decisions could have been taken. तो ये जो समय है, वो एक्चुअली टीम बिल्डिंग का है, वो इनोवेशन का है, वो टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्शन का है, वो डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का है. जो बाकी फैक्टर्स, you know, that we all are focusing, trust me, they are secondary. Any organization, manufacturing, hospitality, IT, any sector you take, if you take your people along with, this journey is going to be much smooth. And that is, I think, the core point that we strongly believe in. You know, our leadership team is of 27 people. We have practically met every second week. All decisions we have taken jointly. I can say that practically by vote. And one thing that we really liked in our organization, all decisions have been people oriented. You know, everybody has said that, look, I cannot do this to my team. And then, 3 months have passed, and we are seeing the positive effects of it in all our areas. And not to say, we have asked help from our people. I have received personal mails from our team that, look, we are with the company. This is what I would like to say.
Okay, good to know, Atul. I think we keep on hearing a couple of things from the industry, from the different economists, different experts, right? This is also now a question which generally comes up from the audience, right? Whether it's a U-shaped recovery, whether it's a V-shaped recovery. So what, in your view, with whatever we are seeing over the last few months and the steps that the industry, the government, and all the individual citizens have taken, how do you see that the market, when the market will be returning to the normalcy? Is it a 3-month time, 6 month, 9 month, or a year, or more than that? What do you see from your own understanding of the market?
हमारी उदित अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये है कि जब ये क्राइसिस से when people start to lead normal lives, and normal life may not be like before, then the business cycle will take another quarter. So in my assessment, the business getting normal is at least 9 months away. At least 9 months away. And right now, all the society, people are hesitant, they are afraid. So I can say that first quarter of next year, things will start to get normal. If we kind of start living normally by the year end, which is December end, then we'll take 1 quarter to get the business cycle back. And when you ask whether it will be a U-shaped recovery or a V-shaped recovery, I strongly feel it will be a V-shaped recovery. Recovery will be very fast. In fact, there will be a lot of pent-up demand. Our customers are already making plans. Today, we are in discussions with them about their future plans. They may not be buying. The budgets may be frozen. They may be less. So when normalcy starts, then, first of all, the pent-up demand and the already made plans will be addressed. So we are hoping for a very quick recovery.
Okay, I think we are reaching the top of the hour. I am receiving messages from the organizers. So maybe final thoughts from you, Atul, for all the SMB audience that we have here joined us.
Final thoughts from me, Udit, are that, look, you said that SMBs are the backbone of our country. And I think we should work with that spirit. We should together, because this is a journey that all SMBs have to take together. We should become more digital. We should become more formalized. We should become more technology enabled. And trust me, the good days are ahead of us. Government also on their part, I'm hearing daily that, SMBs will be largely focused upon. So SMBs, I think, should introduce structural changes, technology changes, and this time, and focus on their teams, as I said. And then we are in for a decade of good growth.
Okay. Thanks, Atul, for sharing your great insights. What I can see from your insights, people, trust, innovation, and digital. These are the 4 key levers that we need to make sure that we are focusing on to make sure that we are going to thrive in this crisis. So thank you, everyone who logged in, who attended this session. I personally learned a lot, Atul, from this session, especially your focus on the people in the current crisis, where we have seen many leaders think very differently. Okay, so great to see your approach towards handling this crisis. I think I would like to end the session with a famous quote from C.J. Redwine: "Losing your head in a crisis is a good way to become a crisis." So let's make sure that we don't lose our head into this crisis. Thank you, everyone, for being a great audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Udit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Atul.
Thank you, Mr. Atul Bansal and Udit Goyal. It's good to know that the key focus area for small and medium businesses in the current crisis is to invest in people, innovation, for unlocking future possibilities. For our closing session, we're now joined by Mr. Panish PK, the Managing Director of Small Business, Cisco India and SAARC, to talk about how we overcame today's unique challenges and tap into tomorrow's opportunities. The journey has just started, and Mr. Panish will show us the way forward.
Good afternoon, customers. And first of all, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you for your time, your patient hearing over the last 3 hours. This is the first virtual summit that we have done at this scale, and it wouldn't have happened without your active participation. And the campaign that we recently launched translates into English as Staying Unstoppable. This is actually our tribute to your unstoppable spirit, your passion, the spirit of entrepreneurship that you as small business owners have exhibited over all these years. At Cisco, we believe in the huge potential of Indian small businesses. And we also heard, the eminent speakers talk about how this huge potential can be exploited with digital transformation. Digital transformation is really the key. And we truly believe in partnering with you on your digital transformation journey. Our intent in addressing the small business customer needs is to empower the small businesses to become more successful in the new normal. You might have heard about the new normal. We are still trying to figure out what this exactly means. While you transition from being a small business to a growing business, you've seen how Cisco can help you across the different products and technologies that Cisco has to offer to you. One step that we have taken in this direction to cater to the exclusive needs of small and medium business customers is the Cisco Design Portfolio. Now, Cisco Design Portfolio is a first step in a long journey that we have undertaken to bring in customized and curated products and solutions to help the needs of the small business customers. We believe that the small business customers, their bandwidth is very precious, very, very precious. And we want to make their process of buying technology, deploying it, managing it, and also measuring it hassle-free. We want that experience to be a very, very easy experience. We want to take the hassle of technology management and maintenance away from them. And that's our promise with the Cisco Design Portfolio. We saw the future of work, and one word that comes to our mind when we think of the future of work in the new normal is collaboration technologies. Cisco WebEx, which is a leading technology in this area, is not just a virtual conference software, but it is one of the most secure platforms for users to be productive using cutting-edge technology. Security is another top of the mind topic for all of us during the challenging times that we are in. You heard one of our esteemed customers vouch for our Simplify Security message. I'm sure that you would be equally excited as we intend to partner with you to address your information security challenges. SMBs are the backbone of the Indian economy. So during a crisis, how does the SMB manage the business? We saw that the key focus areas for SMBs in the present crisis is to keep investing in people and digital to better prepare for response and rebound, because the rebound is going to come sooner than later. And invest in innovation for unlocking future possibilities. Fantastic messages. I found it pretty insightful. A lot of takeaways for me personally, which I will definitely work upon to ensure that our team, the small business team at Cisco, is better prepared to partner with you on your journey of digital transformation and to help you become more successful. Staying unstoppable is our mantra. We believe in it. And I would like to once again thank you for your time and wish you all the very best for the times to come. Stay safe, stay healthy, and wish you all the very best. I would like to end by thanking our partners, our sponsors, our technology partners, Connectivity Solutions and Network Bulls Technology, our digital partners, Telecraft eSolutions, our associate partners, Emerson Infotech, Cisco WebEx, Cisco Meraki, and Seamless Infotech, and our media partners, Money Control. So before I end, I think for both of us, it's Rukna Mana Hai. Staying unstoppable is the only way forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Panish. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this summit, and what a summit it has been. We've had over 5,000 small businesses attending this virtually. The interaction and the engagement has truly been wonderful. It just shows that the small and medium business community is raring to go and there is no stopping them. Truly, Rukna Mana Hai. Before you go, there's just one more announcement. We will be sharing a feedback form with you shortly on your registered email ID. Kindly fill the form and share it with us. You will also become eligible for a special lucky draw once you fill the form. So do let us know what you thought of the event. Thank you.
April 16th, 2018. This is Tokyo. This is Rakuten. These are Cisco executives invited to a meeting with Rakuten. This is Tarek Amin, CTO of Rakuten Mobile. This is Prakash Suthar, team leader from Cisco Customer Experience.
Namaskar. Good morning.
This is a story about doing something that's never been done before.
Prakash, I need someone to help me build the world's first end-to-end cloud-native network. We need a partner.
Let's do it.
In order for this to work, it has to be optimized for 5G.
We'll design it from scratch.
Fully automated.
Fully virtualized.
Cloud.
Core.
Transport.
Virtual RAN.
Everything. It will be the first of its kind.
Oh, yeah.
You can figure it out?
We can figure it out.
This is their idea. It's an ambitious idea. An unprecedented idea.
It's true.
But this is what industry executives called it.
Impossible.
But that didn't stop them. That just made them hungry.
So, Prakash, how about developers?
We'll create a platform